Microphone check. 1, 2, 3. Microphone check. Good morning, everybody. It's the very last day of FSCZ 2025 here in Most, and yeah, what can I say? For us, it's always the most exciting day.
You are absolutely right. I can really feel it, the tension building up, the teams, also from our time, we know exactly how it is in this situation, and we actually see the first car on track.
Yeah, Christian, it's E97 from Schweinfurt, Mainfranken Racing. We've seen them a couple times over the course of this event. Unfortunately, we didn't see them in autocross yesterday. They must have had some issues there. Apart from that, performed also in the driverless categories and in acceleration and skid pad.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that we couldn't see them yesterday, and now they have to basically run directly in the beginning, in the morning, where obviously the temperature's not there, the track is not super ready, but yeah, it's good to see them running.
Yeah, Christian, exactly. The track is not super ready. Let's elaborate that a little bit for everybody. The track layout has changed a little bit compared to yesterday. So the slingshot or carousel, as they call it here, has been nerfed. It's completely removed.
That's correct. And also the area where we see the car right now wasn't there in the track yesterday. It was the part of the autocross where the cars go from one run to the other.
And I'm sure quite a few people will be happy about that, because that part really cost a lot of teams a lot of time. So we saw plenty of spins there, plenty of cones hit, even couple of courses.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, this is, as we've seen yesterday, probably the most challenging part of the track. So we also had a very challenging moments in the beginning of the hill section, where two cars actually ending up in the grass. But yeah, I agree. It's, I think, a good thing for the drivers, but it's still a very, very technical and challenging track overall.
And maybe coming back to the condition of the track, I have to say this night it was much warmer night than before. So let's say the asphalt is in the best morning condition we had here so far.
Yeah, Michael, that's absolutely correct. The temperatures didn't drop as much as before. It was cloudy during the night and is still cloudy, but the sun is supposed to come out later. Mainfranken Racing, meanwhile, setting their second lap here. It's looking pretty good for them so far. The car looks like it has quite a lot of power. Why we say that, we're going to come back later to that. But for now, they look pretty good, and I'm sure the officials will send the next car on the track in just a few minutes.
Yeah, looking at the lap times of Mainfranken, 1:14 is now the current best time, and I think in comparison to also what we've seen over the last years, this is actually not a bad time at all.
Yeah, 100%. We expect lap times to almost be around the same level as in the autocross, so between 60 and 70 seconds. This is what we've seen in the past for both combustion and electric vehicles. And yeah, they're going to run at the same time mostly.
Yeah, it will also be very exciting to see how many cars we can have on track. And we also have our first stats overview for Mainfranken Racing to see how they performed over the week.
Yeah, so basically what we did is here, thanks to our production team, calculate what rough positions the teams are in. We didn't account for cones, so only the publicly available information is on here. The engineering design result, the cost of manufacture, and the business plan. Midfield positions there for Mainfranken Racing. Also midfield positions in acceleration and skid pad. Didn't start in the autocross, so now they'll definitely try and make up some ground in the endurance. But now we also see the next car on track, and it's also the first time that we see them on the entire weekend.
Yeah, this is super good. I mean, when you are on the event side and you're working so hard and you can actually make it to run in endurance, this is such a huge achievement for the team, and we are really, really happy to see them.
It really shows Formula student teams, they don't give up, you know. I know Magdeburg, the team in this case, they've built or they first got their accumulator ready last weekend, so just a few days ago, and now they're running here on the track. Really, really good achievement here. Let's hope they can run as long as possible and potentially finish the endurance.
Yeah, but also I think for them the main focus is, and it would be a huge achievement if they can actually finish the endurance. I think there will be some time difference, as what we can see right now between Mainfranken Racing, but it looks still good at the moment.
Yeah, I guess from the live perspective, we can see Magdeburg running quite a bit slower here. I'm sure for them this is not an issue. They are happy to run at all. But this is exactly what could impede the other teams that might want to go a little bit faster, Christian.
Yeah, that's right. And what do we do in this situation? So what happens is when the faster car is approaching a slower car, it gets waved the blue flag. And for the blue flag, we have several overtaking zones where the car, now in this situation, we can actually see it here, has to move over and let the faster car pass.
Yeah.
The car in this case is now only allowed to re-enter the track when the green flag is waved. So the ideal scenario is that the faster car will not lose any time.
Yeah, perfect example here. Actually, a really good call by the officials. There's 3 overtaking zones marked by the blue cones on the track. One up the hill, or actually downhill, one here right in front of the stage, and also one on the other side of the track. And yeah, the officials deemed the car from Schweinfurt so much quicker than Magdeburg here that they waved the blue flag rather early. This is quite unusual, but definitely the right call in this case.
Yeah, definitely. If we look at the lap time, it's basically close to a minute difference, so 60 seconds. And the lap that Mainfranken Racing is doing is close to 1 minute. So we will basically see, every second lap probably an overtake here if it stays the same.
Super consistent also from the driver from Mainfranken here. Starting off 114, now he's down to 112. And speaking about consistency, it's definitely one thing that hasn't been a factor in the previous disciplines, but definitely comes into play here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is basically the key. You can have also a very, very fast driver, but the key is also to have a consistent lap time, because obviously 22 laps count. And now we see exactly the situation that Magdeburg is holding up Mannheim.
This isn't actually Magdeburg. I think it's I think it's Mannheim.
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
3rd car on track now, but Schweinfurt getting past them rather quickly again.
So this is basically the penalty the team gets when they don't finish the good run in the autocross. They are on the track with the slower car that
And
could
we see
influence.
we see car 97 pulling over. Can't really see what's happening, but the car stopped next to the track.
That would be super sad. We can see them from here. talking to the officials right now. Christian, how long do they have time until they need to get the car back running?
This depends kind of on the officials on site. If the car gets moving a little bit, then they can say, yeah, okay, it got moving again. So, but roughly a time estimate would be 1 minute. And when the officials touch the car, then it's normally DNF and the endurance is over for the team.
Exactly. It also depends a little bit on the track conditions, how many teams are on there. I guess in this case, 2 other cars on track, both not posting as quick lap times as Mainfranken Racing right now. So they might be a little more lenient here to try and get them running. I still haven't seen the official pushing the car away. The driver is still sitting in, so let's pray that they can continue their run here.
Yeah, this also is the case when a car stops frequently on track, but is not hitting the time. So they can also order to go to a kind of a technical inspection in the middle to see what's going on with the car, and to see if it's still safe to run, or it needs to be pulled out of the track.
We can see now the Magdeburg driver increasing confidence, staying closer to the cones, actually catching the Mannheim car up the hill section now. It's down to 1:41 in his best lap time.
Yeah, and I think this is 30 seconds difference we see here to Kjør Mannheim.
Yeah, to explain the graphics a little bit maybe, we see the overall position for each car after their respective lap that they've done. So for example, Mainfranken Racing, it shows the one right now. They were the best team right now to finish 6 laps. You see the total time, their best lap, their last lap, their average time. And for every team which is not number 1 right now, time-wise, you will also see a delta.
We've got also another car on the track. It's combustion car, unfortunately, without the rear wing and the C25 car.
Yeah, Tio Yazi here, one of 2 Romanian teams. They have participated in all events so far, quite nice. And we see it now, E97, DNF, super unfortunate. The driver is out of the car is being pushed away. Big blow to the team.
Yeah, but still a great achievement to see them here on track. Definitely huge respect to the team.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely had some issues yesterday, so nice to see them overall.
And there we see Magdeburg stopping, also next to the track.
Yeah, this was not an overtaking zone, Christian. Definitely not a normal stop here.
So what normally happens in this case, when a car stops next to or maybe even on the track, the marshals wave a yellow flag. And the yellow flag in this case means the driver has to slow down significantly. So the driver that is upcoming, obviously, that has to slow down significantly. And if the car is on track still, he needs to be guided by the marshal. And we see a spin on top of the hill.
Wow. Seems like the Tio Yazi driver a little overcorrecting there.
And now he's next to the track, finding the way.
He's putting up lots of work for the marshals, but he stayed on the tarmac.
Great save there, great save. He just pulled the throttle, and actually pulled up a donut on top of the hill.
Yeah, it looked quite skilled how he actually turned the car around. It looks quite oversteery here without the rear wing. We remember yesterday, we've actually seen them with a rear wing. It's quite surprising that both the Romanian teams we've seen with and without the rear wings now.
Yeah, this is quite a coincidence, I would say. But yeah, also now get the technical inspection flag waved for the Magdeburg car down here on the pit straight.
Yeah, they're trying to guide them out. It was nice to see them running again.
But they stopped on a very, very
No yellow flags right now for the TUYASI team, but the driver saw it in time.
Yeah, this wasn't a good position to stop at all. Right in the chicane.
Yeah, I don't think he did it on purpose, to be honest. And he's getting pushed now, Christian.
I think this kind of incidents we can expect now at the morning session, where we having these kind of, it's still pretty nice cars, but the reliability don't have to be that good, unfortunately, as we can see now.
Yeah, and there it is, the DNF for E20 for Magdeburg, Uni Magdeburg. 3 laps in. Looked quite steady the first couple laps. Fortunately DNF here, but then again, we haven't seen them all weekend, and it came off a little bit of a surprise for us to see them here. Always nice to see that car with the orange steel tube frame. Mannheim also crawling around the track right now, seemingly stopping and going again.
Yeah, this is not their normal speed. Also seem to have some issues.
Christian, and I imagine how hard this is for the driver who's behind them, you know? Like, he just wants to set the quickest lap time possible, but he also knows the car ahead maybe has a slight issue there. Just has to wait until the next overtaking zone.
Yeah, it's super frustrating. I mean, this is also frustrating for the team sometimes, that you can see the seconds running out. And yeah, I don't want to be in this position, honestly, but this is also part of the game here, and part of motorsport in general.
Yeah, 100%. We still see the Romanian car having some issues with navigating around the cones. Carrying one cone here for quite some time, actually pushing another cone. But yeah, tight corners, they really seem to struggle with. Driver already doing a much better job than before, though. But yeah, I mean, regarding this, you know, like, you've been driving with a rear wing, a completely different aero balance, a whole car balance overall over the course of the weekend, and then you get thrown into an endurance event just with a completely different setup car. How tough do you think this is?
Yeah, it's super tough. I mean, we already saw it. And the top of the hill, where the car gets lighter, you don't have the grip on the rear axle, you throw it into the corner. Yeah, the car, as I mentioned, gets lighter on top of the hill. You just sometimes have to manage it, and in this case, he just lost it. So yeah, I think it's a huge challenge for this driver.
And also the driver is not used to driving it without the rear wing, so he has to learn the car every lap for the first time here on the endurance.
Yeah, and we can see exactly that. He's picking up pace, getting faster and faster. His best lap time also being the last lap time. In the meantime, we also see the next car on track. It's Ghent University from Belgium, E51. Getting pulled out now into the overtaking zone, because the team from TUYASI is overtaking them. Clean overtake here, no issues. Didn't cost the Romanian team any time, it feels like.
Yeah, the driver for Yazi is actually really, really pushing it at the moment. 1:29 without a rear wing, that's a very, very good lap time.
Oh, also, the car having no rear wing is maybe not the only issue, because what I've seen just here on the finish straight, another cone, unfortunately, has been hit. What I've seen here on the straight was a front, another cone, sorry, was lock-up of the front brake, so the car's drivability is definitely not in a good condition, maybe even with the rear wing. And also we hear some misfires here, but the car still keeps pushing.
Ghent, meanwhile, finishing their first lap.
Yeah, speaking of cones, Jonas, what does it mean also for the overall timing when you hit that much amount of cones?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen plenty of endurances or even competition wins being decided on or by the amount of cones hit. One cone hit is an additional car from Mannheim here, little moment here, stopping for a second, but the driver going away immediately again. Yeah, but we were saying one cone hit is 2 seconds. 2 seconds added to the finishing endurance time. The officials are tracking this very, very carefully.
What we've seen with the E71 car was that the car just here stopped and then go again. Christian and Jonas, how do you think, what do you think the pilot was trying to do by stopping and going again?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think it was on purpose. This is sometimes due to some technical issues that the driver may face with the car. So if he doesn't really stop too often, if he doesn't stop too long, he can continue as often as he wants. But this is in the responsibility of the marshals to decide whether they want to pull him out or not. In this case, it was just a small stop. He didn't stand in the way for anyone else, so it was okay.
Yeah, also we could hear, I think the sound, the ready-to-drive sound. So I think the car just was off and he immediately started again. Maybe right now they're having some trouble and that's just the way the car needs to be driven right now. That's also another thing that we will talk about later, hopefully with a couple guests, driving styles, how they differ from autocross to endurance.
Yeah, and also Formula Student, I think, is very unique challenge also for the drivers with a technical understanding. Because in situations like this, you need to know the car, you need to know how to maybe restart it, or what you actually can do to get it going. Testing time is a huge factor in that. People and drivers need to be familiar with the car, and then can decide in which situation wherever they are.
Yeah, this time the Mainfranken, the E71 driver, going through the start-finish line without any issues. But yeah, Christian, you mentioned testing time is crucial for the driver's technical understanding. We need to keep in mind these are all prototypes, all student-built prototypes. There will be issues, so definitely having a driver that has an understanding on how the cars function is a benefit.
Yeah, and this can sometimes save your event. When you have a driver who has a good understanding, he can restart the car or even carry it over the finish line because he already feels that something wrong is going on. This is basically what you also need.
Yeah, and that's why it also sometimes influences the driver choice. For some disciplines or with some teams that we've spoken to, they use, for example, different drivers in the autocross than in the endurance. Stats from C25 here, strong showing in the business plan. Maybe to summarize again, for those who are a little bit new into the Formula Student, here in Czech we got 22 laps, each lap, around 1 kilometer. And in the middle there will be a driver change, so after 11 laps, we will see a driver change here. And the first team that seems to be approaching the driver change, TU Yazi Racing, now on lap 7 from 22. But also Cure Mannheim now entering lap 7.
Yeah, it looks like Yazi's slowing down a little bit over the last laps and also now in this situation.
Yeah, they really struggle with that hairpin there. We've seen yesterday already issues with some teams just not having that turning radius to do that super tight turn and then also maybe getting a little bit scared from the tire barrier on the right side. Just need to know your car very, very well up there.
Yeah, but this doesn't look good. I think the engine stopped.
Yeah, the RPM might have dropped there too much. Not sure if the driver can restart here. The officials are quickly at the car because it's one of the crucial points here. C25 DNF is what we see. Driver's still in the car though, so let's see.
Yeah, the main priority at the moment is to get the car off the track, but just for safety reasons, so also the other drivers are not impeded by the car standing on the track.
We see also Mannheim picking up the pace a little bit. They are now well below 10 seconds off of their average time, so really starting to push it more here. And you can also see the car. It seems like they are just on more power here. One 139 now.
Yeah, it looks like the driver and the car is much more confident now. The average is way higher than the current lap times. So he's really picking up speed.
And we got the next car on track. It's C69. From Czech Republic, TU Liberec. One of 5 Czech teams here. And our second combustion car. So the first team to challenge these lap times. But it actually does seem like Yazi couldn't restart the car, which will unfortunately result in a DNF for them on lap 7 out of 22. E71 here, stopping again the start-finishing line. Really surprising.
Yeah, it's a little bit... I mean, it's either a coincidence or it has something to do with the track, but they just stopped for a short amount of time, the same area than they did earlier today.
Here on the Czech team, we can see, oh, he just went through the overtaking zone.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, that's gonna be an off track here, Christian.
Yeah, off track. Off track means normally 20 seconds time penalty added. So, yeah, you obviously want to avoid that, but I think the driver just got a little bit confused.
So we had a question on E51 car. Here you have the stats. The car just went around the finish line, and it's definitely not going on the full power, but definitely one of the faster cars we had so far here in the morning session.
Yeah, in the meantime, we saw the team from Liberec stopping on the track.
Yeah, I'm very afraid it's going to be DNF, but let's see if they can restart the car.
The marshals are telling the other drivers to go around somewhere else. In this case, it is not an off-track. It's simply a measure for safety. And we also see the first car pulling into the driver change, E71 from Cure Mannheim. Congratulations to them for finishing the first half of the endurance. Let's hope they can keep it up in their second run.
Yeah, they are definitely weren't going to the full power, but the main goal here is to finish the endurance.
Yeah, 100%. Christian, we can see the driver change now. Both drivers here working on the car. Can you maybe take us through the procedure during the driver change?
Yeah, so driver change is time limited. So the first thing you do when the car stops, you look at the time. You have 3 minutes time to actually get the driver changed. And there are some rules to it. So what is allowed and what is not allowed. So there's basically, as a team member, you are not allowed at all to touch the car, except for the master switch and the driver gear. So you can obviously adjust things like steering wheel or pedals or the seat. These things can be kind of adjusted to the new driver. But anything else, wings, tires, or some other parts of the car are not allowed to touch by any of the team members. And then afterwards, the scrutineers in parallel also checking the car, seeing if something is maybe destroyed during the first run or is unsafe to be released again on track. And if they also give the okay and it's below 3 minutes, then you can restart your next run.
Yeah, with Mannheim still in the driver change, we see the next car going on track, TU Warsaw, C66 here. Pulling up the noise level on the track. But yeah, Christian, you mentioned already there's 3 minutes for the driver change. But what happens if it actually takes longer? Because, 3 minutes, usually it is enough if you get everything right. If there's something wrong with the belts, if there's something wrong with your arm restraints, you usually have to get out of the car again, readjust it, and it sometimes takes longer than 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the teams train it beforehand. Drivers, they help each other to get into and out of the car. So normally it's manageable in 3 minutes, but yeah, what happens? So when you extend the 3 minutes, you obviously are in discussions with the marshals, but normally the time for your endurance just starts continuing. And if you can't keep going because of a technical issue, or the car doesn't restart, or something like this, then it's unfortunately also a DNF.
And maybe also we can tell that the driver has to get off the car under the 7 seconds, if I'm correct. So the change of the driver should be definitely manageable. Now the E71 car is back on the track with the second driver, and also C66 car putting here pretty impressive lap times.
Yeah, and we got Souza now interviewing the first driver from E17. Let's hear what he has to say about his improved lap times over the course of the endurance.
I'm here with Niklas. It's so good to have you here. Congrats, you're the first team to reach the halfway of the endurance. How was the run? How do you feel?
It was good. We had a few problems, as you could see, but we are confident we can fix them and finish endurance.
Did you do any adjustment during the run?
Not really. We basically just switch between different levels of pushing, but no
major changes. Okay, and you're confident the car will reach the end of the endurance?
Definitely, we will finish.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, and back to the studio because we have a lot of cars on the track.
Yeah, thank you, Susanna. Very confident driver there, Niklas. It seems like he was really happy that the car picked up the pace, and let's hope they continue it with the second driver as well. Also, we see Gent starting to post better lap times here. Timing-wise, they're a little bit ahead of Q Mannheim for now, after 9 finished laps. And also WT Racing really starting to push it now. Up the hill, the driver gaining confidence. On his second lap now, really finding the rhythm here.
Yeah, I mean, he already put in the fastest lap of the day with a 1:26.7.
For combustion cars, respectively, that is. And we are about to approach the next overtake here, up the hill, Cure Mannheim car. It seems like it's lacking a little bit of power here again. Another issue that might occur during the driver change is rising temperatures.
Yeah, sometimes you have the problem, especially also with sometimes combustion cars, that when you have a standstill and you don't have the fans operating, or in general the fans don't operate in your cooling system, the heat just doesn't get out of the car, and you don't have the air pushing the hot air out of the car. So it's sometimes hard to basically restart the car and get going again, but we didn't have any of these issues today so far.
Yeah, the Warsaw driver really pushing it now. We could hear the front ring scraping on the floor, improving again to 122. He's really finding his rhythm now on lap 3. Gent, in the meantime, ahead of Cure Mannheim. Just one more lap for them until they're in the driver change. Checkered flag is out for them. Both the drivers will actually see it after finishing their respective run of the endurance. And there it is, E51, first driver through the first half of the endurance. The team clapping, definitely happy about them pulling this off here.
Yeah, car number 66, very confident up the hill, picking up more and more pace. Looks like the driver and the car is warmed up.
And E53 car that we just seen going through the hairpins. And yeah, it's unfortunately without the front wing. So we have opposite of the characteristics we've seen before. So we expect a lot of understeer. Yeah, and here is the C66 car doing very nice pace. And I have to say the driver is a bit on the aggressive side of the driving style, but he is definitely doing the best job so far here.
Yeah, but that's the thing exactly. You know, once you start to get confident after those first couple laps in the endurance, you know, you take your time to heat up the tires properly, and if you gain that confidence, you can really, really push it. You don't have to watch out for anything in the endurance. You just want to finish the race. So obviously, if you feel like the car is giving you the opportunity, you definitely go for it and send it.
And we've got definitely a lot of Eugen fans in the chat, so yeah, keep pushing.
Yeah, and speaking about confidence, this is exactly what the car of the driver, the driver of the car, number 66, is doing. It's getting faster and faster.
Yeah, we've seen a similar approach from them already at FSA, where they also made it really, really far in the endurance, but unfortunately had to shut down the car due to the depleted accumulator on the very final lap. But I'm sure that they fixed it for this time. All racing team now finishing their second lap.
Here we have camera on C66 car from Warsaw, if I'm right, and the car was, or the team was in the ED finals, so the design approach for this car was definitely one of the better ones from the combustion category.
Yeah, Michael, you stood right next to them there. Really impressive car. Yeah, being in the ED finals here, the way that we calculated here is since the official results haven't been published yet, and some of them I don't think even stand yet, we just give all the finalists the same points here.
Yeah, so we had a question. While we see... No, got going again. So we got a question in the chat asking about safety of the driver change and why there is time pressure. So as we mentioned earlier, there are 3 minutes to complete the driver change, but safety is always taken care of. So before the driver actually can restart, the time stops, and then the scrutineers also check if everything is correctly done. So we will not let the car out on track just because the 3 minutes are over and the driver can do whatever they want. No, the safety is definitely taken care of, and normally 3 minutes are more than enough to get the second driver going again.
And here we have a cone crashed, unfortunately, but we can see that the driver is pushing the times, and this is just the result of it, of course.
Yeah, he's reducing that average lap time lap by lap now.
Down to 1:19 now in his best lap.
And here we have actually 3 cars in one picture. That's pretty interesting to see. So let's see how Marshall is gonna handle this situation. And the blue flags waving, but the car just stopped before the...
'53 from Lemgo. All Racing is actually an abbreviation for the region they're from, Ostwestfalen-Lippe, the northwestern part of Germany. Been using that name since 2008. C66 in the meantime been shown their last lap sign for the first driver.
Car stopping in front of them, and they managed the situation beautifully.
Driver rushing a little bit to get out of the car to make as much time as possible for the safety critical things later on. Ghent now getting the blue flag with Lemgo behind them. Yeah, All Racing also seeming very, very steady actually. The car doesn't seem to be very out of balance with the rear ring.
Yeah, I mean, if they knew that beforehand, maybe they adjusted some of the suspension settings to cope for the not existing front wing in the endurance. But also it has much to do with the driver being confident with it and getting to know the car, as we mentioned earlier. While we see E71 stopping again, but get going also. We've seen that now multiple times.
Yeah, they just continue. They just won't stop for good. And as long, I mean, there's very, very few things that you can adjust in those 3 minutes. I mean, we said it already. Driver safety is key here. Oh, Lemgo stopping. I'm not sure. I think they're waiting for a car ahead. Yeah, they're just passing Mannheim here. No issue for them.
Short shock moment in the stream.
And they're back on pace. But the Mannheim car hasn't passed the stage yet.
So first team from the combustion category to reach the halfway. How was the track? How are you feeling?
Track was fine. It was a bit different from autocross yesterday, but for me personally, it was a much simpler track. There was no corkscrew this time. Although in the second lap I had the spin in a very nasty place because it was very narrow and it was difficult for me to turn back on the track, but I managed it. From that moment, I basically pushed as hard as I could. The car was fine until the last few laps. We saw that our car is slightly overheating, but we hope that we can manage to bring the car to finish line and get some points.
You also had the very interesting up the hill stop moment. How did you feel during that?
Well, I actually was catching the guy and I hoped that he wouldn't stop on the uphill, but I thought, okay, if that's the case, we have some problems with the engine, but I will smack it to the floor and just release the clutch as fast as I could, and it helped. It worked.
So, very last quick question: are you confident the car is going to get to the very end and then pass the scrutineering?
If you asked me before the competition, I would say definitely, but now we had some problems, we had some issues, and we basically managed to overcome them in the last moment before the endurance. I hope so, that it will finish successfully, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
There is a slight thing in the head that it might not finish, but I hope it will.
Thank you so much, and back to the track because we have another car starting.
Yeah, thank you, Sousa. I think we need to follow that there. There was a huge moment there for the Warsaw driver. Cone stuck. He just went off track there, completely lost the car and went into the grass. And this is exactly what we've been talking about. This track is very difficult, especially with cold tires. From the driver change, you're standing there for at least 3 minutes. I think for C66 it was even slightly longer until they got the green flag here. Let's hope he can restart the car. Officials pushing them back, and there he goes again. There he goes again.
This will be, unfortunately, a huge time loss for the team, but they are luckily still going, and that's the most important thing.
100%. And also, unfortunately, in the meantime, we saw the car from Mannheim being pushed out on lap 19 of 22.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. It's a very sad story, so close to the finish. Let's hope it will work on the next event.
E51, meanwhile, approaching the last three laps here.
There is a strange tube next to the driver on the E51 car. The scrutineering guys told me that it's because of the suspension. So it was very problematic to get them through the scrut, and here we see them how they do the hairpins. This is on the hill, this part of the track, and we have to say they want to finish the race. That's the endurance run. That's their main goal, and let's hope they will be able to do it. Now in this section we are going downhill, so the car it tends to oversteer when we push the limits there. And here we have another car on the track, E35.
Yeah, Juni Maribor from Slovenia, just finishing their first lap, 1:34. Not a bad start here. I think only so far Schweinfurt, the very first car on track, was quicker. And he goes off track again on the other side. The C66 driver from Warsaw. Wow, really pushing the limits here.
And the car is going slowly now. Unfortunately, you can see it on the camera yet, and here we have
Yeah.
the C66 car.
I can still hear the engine running. Driver really pushing it there.
This is
Going
what-
again, showing that he also got the skills to got the car driving again on the hill.
Yeah, it's question if this was driver mistake or there is some technical issue, because afterwards the car was going slowly, so that's pretty
Yeah, honestly, I think after having a moment like this, you quickly just not a little bit in shock, but yeah, almost. You could say that, and you're just trying to collect yourself as soon as possible and come back to the limit as soon as possible again. He's had now 2 of these moments, so yeah, let's hope he can stay at the limit for the rest of his. But exactly what we said at the beginning of the endurance, consistency really is key. There's no point in being 5/10 faster if you go off every second lap.
And also the pressure on the drivers is very big, because there is the whole team behind this run, behind this car, and they represent them in this race, and yeah, it has to be big amount of pressure.
Yeah, pressure definitely on here, but I believe at least the teams that have been testing for quite some time, the drivers are experienced enough, and personally I would say that autocross, where you only have this one go to get it right, not hit any cones, get the fastest time in with the least amount of time possible, is yeah, usually a little more pressuring than endurance. Endurance, as it says, is an endurance discipline, so it also goes to the physical ability of the driver towards the end of it. We also see 66 in the meantime going a bit slow on the hill, but back running fast on the downhill section.
So when I spoke to the driver, they actually told me that they made some last-minute changes about 10 minutes before they started going. So maybe they're also watching out. But you can see they were quite afraid after autocross yesterday whether today will perform and whether it will perform well. But they said that the changes they made very last minute made them confident, and the driver was much, much more confident. He was telling me that he was watching the temperatures very closely. That's why he slowed down somewhere in the mid, so he can catch up, and then when he saw it was getting better, he started pushing again. So maybe we're observing something similar here. I think we're also somewhere in the middle of the lapping.
Yeah, definitely just proves again how valuable a driver is that has some technical understanding of the car as well, that knows what could be potential issues with the car and then knows how to deal with them on an endurance run.
Heat management is one of the big things here on the endurance, because here it's tested to its fullest, let's say, because you have to run the car first time for the 22 minutes.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you here, but we are about to see the first car of the day, bringing it home, finishing the endurance. E51 Uni Ghent Racing from Belgium. Huge congratulations, guys. What a drive it was. What a drive it was. Didn't seem like the car was on the limit throughout. So super stoked to see them bringing it home, finishing endurance, and now going into the post-inspection. Yeah, we see it in the chat here. First ever endurance finish for E51. Congratulations, guys. You deserved it.
And here we are back on the track. The car E35 just catching the E53 car. Let's say when he will be able to overtake the car. And now we can see it in one shot, the difference of the speed of these two cars, how slowly he's catching. The driver now can just hope that he will catch the car in the perfect moment, in the moment that there will be the overtaking zone.
Yeah, I'm sure the driver of UAS Lemgo is going to pick it up in a little bit as well. It didn't seem quite clear to him there where the overtaking zone starts.
And here we have shot on the E51 car, and the main thing for the team now is to do the post-scrutineering. That's the most important thing to make the endurance count.
Yeah, exactly. The car still has to be rule compliant. They're going to measure all the aerodynamic boxes again that we've been talking about so much in the earlier disciplines. They're going to measure various other things, also do some electrical inspection that Stefan in the afternoon will elaborate more for us. Four cars now on track. We also see Hofspannung from Hof.
Here we can see the car from the side, and what is very interesting on this car is that it has transparent, let's say, panels of the on there. So it's interesting to see the driver, and it's also interesting to see how the driver sits in front of the car, mainly. So yeah, here we see the downhill section, and yeah, without the front wing, the car is definitely not that drivable. And it also shows how effective the aero package is. If they're generating a ton of downforce with the wings, when one of the wing, front or rear, is missing, the car will be undrivable.
Yeah, Michael, it really depends. I mean, if they've accounted for it, then it can definitely work. And I've seen the car without the front wing the entire event, so they probably pulled in ahead of it and considered it from the get-go. Warsaw now finishing the 18th lap. A little bit slower than earlier, but still one of the quickest cars on track right now.
And the transparent body of the car, as I've been talking about lastly, we've seen it somewhere, Jonas, is it right? It's not the only car that has it here. And I was talking, of course, about Fast Tube. Anyways, here we saw a few cones dropping, unfortunately, from their original place, but they're still pushing, and here we can see the newest car on the track, let's say, and it's the E86 car.
Yeah, Hofspannung finished their second lap. Driver from WT Racing, you can still hear that front wing tapping the ground in the heavy braking zones. It's going to be some scratches, but I'm sure that's definitely worth it in exchange for finished endurance. 3 more laps to go for them. Yeah, Christian, we've seen the first car finishing in around 39 minutes. Obviously, not the quickest time. I mean, I don't think the car was on the limit. Nevertheless, a good achievement there. But do you think over the course of endurance, tire degradation becomes an issue?
That is a very, very good question. And it obviously depends on what kind of tire you choose. We see a lot of teams running the Hoosier tires, especially the R20, which came out only a couple years back, or the LC0, which is also quite common. But over the course of an endurance, if it's hot like this, yes, it can definitely become a factor, especially when the team chose, for example, the wrong tire pressure. Yeah, you have kind of too high temperatures on the tire if it's too much inflated in the middle of the tire, and yeah, this can cause a lot of degradation and overheating in the tire.
Yeah, Christian, speaking about tire pressures, it's super important and definitely one of the biggest variable that you need to get right for the endurance event, because you're pumping up the tire when the tire is still just having the environmental temperature, and then it's heating up, and you need to get to that sweet spot of pressure that you want your tire in with the heated up delta in the end. And that's sometimes really hard to get, and also dependent from track to track and the conditions outside.
And also the suspension and the setup of the suspension has to be considered here, I would say, because if you have wrong setup, you can just use too much of the front tires and they will just go out at the end of the endurance.
Yeah, I totally agree, and this can also cause some inconvenient events, like a car suddenly starts oversteering and maybe a spin occurs. Something like this, we've seen it in the past. But in general, I think, as Jonas mentioned, it's one of the most crucial parts in Formula Student to get them right. And the team spent a lot of testing time into understanding the tires and trying to get the most out of them.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we will see what team can deal best with tire degradation here. It's actually a really important topic for some teams. Warsaw now going into their very last lap. We can, to the tire topic, one more thing. It's actually really interesting that you can even see for the same tire, for example, for the Hoosier, a different degradation on different rim sizes. So you can run them on 8 and 7-inch width rims, and you see a different degradation on them.
Yeah, I mean, this basically shows how sensitive this whole topic is. It's the only contact between the car and the track surface. And as we already mentioned, the track surface has a huge influence on the tire. And in the meantime, we saw cars stopping.
Yeah, Christian. Oh, and they're going again. Wow, what a moment that was. Warsaw on their very last lap. Keep in mind, this is what happened to them at FS Austria already. They stopped on the very last lap. So should the team relieve right now and just praying this car can get over the finish line.
Yeah, man, short amount of shock here. But maybe the driver was just so confident that he was playing short prank on the team. Let's hope it was this.
Yeah, now we've seen him having some issues with that tight turns for a couple laps now. And the rest of the track, the car has been super steady, just going fine now. Last couple turns for them now.
Passing us on the stage.
Left-hander here. Checkered flag is out, and wave for them.
Congratulations.
TU Warsaw C66, our first combustion car, finishing the endurance event.
Wow, the team is super happy here on the grandstands.
Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, what a ride it was. We saw those 2 spins by them just as the second driver started. The engine was off during the first driver's run. And just all these moments added up to this becoming a super tense endurance run for them. And hopefully a huge relief at the end with them finishing it.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, this was such a thrill. But now I think one hurdle is still to go. They need to pass post-scrutineering. And yeah, the car will now be under Park Fermé rules, so no team member is allowed to touch it until, the post-inspection is completed and they are good to go.
one car that has really impressed us so far, E35 Uni Maribor, posting really strong lap times for the EV on the EV side. Hochspannung stopping again here for the second time within 100 meters, but going again. And they slow down again. Super stressful for the team. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually having a burnout at 30.
Yeah, you're right. Mentioning that slowing on the rear wing, man, let's hope they can keep going.
Yeah, what I was... Oh, they're pulling out here now. Little bit surprising, considering he got the car going the couple times before that.
Looks like the driver is looking for the marshals.
Let's see if they gonna restart the car and keep going. And he's joining the track again. E86 is back on the track. Here we have the E35 car on the start. And this gonna be their second run. And here we go. We saw some flap, if I'm right. So there is a DRS on this car. The flap for, as we call it, drag reduction system. The question is if the driver has to open it manually or it's maybe automatic. Hard to say from this point. And here we go with the car C96.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. Uni Maribor really posting really strong lap times here. Hochspannung stopping again on the track. This time at the entry of the driver change of the overtaking zone. And also all racing from UAS Lemgo on their last 1.5 laps of the endurance.
Wow, we really hope they make it. Looked very good so far.
I think he's off the course. Unfortunately, looks like hard to say what's happening there as we see E35 finishing another lap here.
Yeah, E86 stopping quite often now within one lap. This can become very tough for them.
Yeah, especially with this happening during the first stint. This is hard to recover from.
In the meantime, UAS Lemgo going into their very last lap. And Christian, this can be history for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think we should jinx it at the moment. Let's just focus on this lap.
Yeah, E86 being pushed away here. It's unfortunate DNF for them.
And also the comments, cheering for Lemgo, finishing that last lap.
Meanwhile, the driver from Maribor picking it up right where the first driver left him off. Currently fastest EV car on track. And I can see the car from All Racing approaching the last couple corners here. Underneath the bridge now.
On past our stage. Driver sees the checkered flag.
And passes it. They are through, Christian. E53 finishing the endurance, and not just any endurance.
Congratulations, guys. Yeah, Jonas, we already not mentioned it, but we try to avoid mention it. What does it mean for them? What do you think?
Yeah, it's not just their first endurance that they've ever finished, it is their first electric dynamic discipline that they have ever finished. So congratulations to them there. Let's hope that they pass the post-scrutineering. Huge congrats to them. Really relief for the team as well.
Yeah, absolutely remarkable achievement.
Yeah, until we get an update from them, let's switch over to the second driver from Raso. Let's see what he has to say.
We're here with Grzegorz, the second driver of the Wood Racing team. They are the second team to finish the competition today and the first one in the combustion category. How are you feeling? How was the run?
I'm tired. It was quite difficult because it was my first autocross, and actually I said to myself before the run, calm down, just to give the car back to the pits. And actually at the first lap I just pushed so hard that at the second lap I spun and I thought to myself, okay, calm down, and then after that I spun second time. So it was difficult. At the end I didn't feel my hands, so I was just going to the line, but very excited and proud moment for myself. So yeah, it was good.
Did you feel the pressure building up every lap that you were getting closer?
My team is such friendly for me that they building me pressure before the run, and when I'm in the car the pressure goes away. So I'm prepared before the run. All my colleagues are saying some text, so that I'm driving like I wouldn't say it, but after that in the car it's okay.
And we spoke a little in the studio about the management of the tires. How is the approach? What's the strategy for the tires, and how do you manage them over the run?
There was no management. Just going full throttle. No.
Full throttle, no management. Well, maybe a lesson for other teams. Thank you so much. And back to the studio.
Yeah, thank you, Suso, there. Very relieved TU Warsaw driver. And the next car that we've seen on track now, E79, Rennschmiede Pforzheim, who finished their first lap, but they stopped on their first lap already and seemingly almost at the very same position in their second lap. Apart from that, it looked super quick, especially up the hill. A little bit nervous almost on the rear axle, the car. Picking up the cone here.
Oh, huge spin.
Wow, right in front of the stage. You could hear the front wing touching the ground there, the asphalt.
And the car is now completely blocking C96. But the driver is letting him by.
Yeah, he needs to be pushed backwards here. He lost control there on the bump.
Yeah, Jonas, you mentioned it earlier. The car looked a little bit nervous on the rear axle.
Marshall's now pushing them back. Obviously with their high voltage rated gloves.
Yeah, this will cost him a lot of time, but luckily nothing happened here. Cone got removed, so the driver is now good to go again.
Yeah, no reverse gear on this car, on these cars. Happy to see them back on the track. Yeah, sorry. It was quite a moment for us as well. It happened right in front of the stage here where we saw it. The driver taking another cone there in the hairpin.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever this close to a spin in the endurance, to be honest. Quite exciting.
And also we have to say that the driver can be happy not to hit anything, because especially in this era there is a lot of stuff to hit.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. It's a very, very narrow area. It goes straight, but it has this little bump on there. which can definitely be an issue. Maribor now finishing their 17th lap.
But the driver from Pforzheim still pushing it. Didn't let himself being irritated by this spin.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want from your driver as well, right? I mean, of course, mistakes can happen. Obviously, always tough in an endurance. He did a good job catching the car, and now being back on pace, this is what really shows that he has got some practice in the car.
Yeah, it's basically a guarantee that when you try to find the limit, there will be some errors. If you go slightly over it, that's has a huge influence on the overall performance, obviously.
Pforzheim car really struggling up there with the hairpin. Apart from that, they look really strong. Now catching up to the car from UPB Drive. And we also see E85 electric car from TU Warsaw on track. Proton Dynamic just finishing their first lap, whereas Maribor only has 4 more laps to go now.
Now we are looking at E79 car, and we can see he's pushing now, and the car is finally maybe hasn't the problems as before, because before we saw this car stopping quite often to maybe restart it.
Yeah, maybe, and it also looks way more controlled during the slaloms, I would say. The rear axle a little more planted here, still having some issues with those tight corners. Steering angle
close.
Just
But he's trying
enough to get through there.
Works.
Wow, picking up 2 cones here.
And avoiding the third one.
This has to be very big moment for the driver, because he's just hoping there is enough space for him to continue the run.
Yeah, and you can already see him taking a cone on the outside at the entry of the corner to prepare for the exit of the corner. It seems like the car just doesn't have the steering angle to manage that tight corner.
Yeah, and the team was also very, very excited after he managed to do it.
Car stopped again now, unfortunately, losing some time. Let's hope we can restart it. TSAL is green, means that the tractive system is off.
Now it's on again. Let's see if he can restart. Yes. Wow, what an endurance run so far for Mannheim. Not Mannheim, Pforzheim, sorry.
The driver doesn't look happy, like there is clearly something wrong. He's trying to fix it, and here he go again. There you can see the difference. The E35 car is pretty slow compared to this car, but it's consistent and it's still going the similar times without any issue. So yeah, the big power that this 79 car has is not always the answer, let's say. Yeah, that's the car I was talking about. E35 doing the pretty stable and similar pace through the whole endurance run.
Yeah, it looks like they're in a really good position here to take over the lead in the electric category. They finished these last 2 laps. Really, really strong showcasing so far. And very, very reliable. And this is also what they've told us, you know. I mean, this was one of their main goals for this season, their second electric car, to get it more reliable. Last year, unfortunate DNF in the endurance. However, finished the Alp Adria endurance last year. And now hopefully also getting to the finish line in Czech Republic. You can see the Slovenia flag being waved on the grandstands.
it's 2 laps to go for them, so let's pray for the finish line and hope that they will get there. Let's go, Maribor. Probably it's going to be one of the fastest time. I'm really excited how it will be compared to the C66 car, which were doing a more dramatic pace, let's say, with more problems maybe, but faster times.
And Maribor got their last lap sign.
Yeah, not quite matching their fastest times anymore. Milan Pforzheim almost spinning again here. Driver having it under control this time though. Yeah, Maribor not quite matching their fastest lap times, which could also be a result because of derating, you know, just temperatures rising towards the end of the endurance. Quite a lot of teams releasing less energy, less power at the end of an endurance run, which very often is planned and not really a reason to worry about.
Yeah, and what we've also seen in the past, to be honest, is sometimes that the driver is also getting a little bit tired at the end of the endurance. It is a physical exercise to drive through these 11 kilometers for one stint, 11 laps, sorry. So, yeah, it's
100% Christian. Your forearms are just pumped. But I'm sure this is nothing that the driver of E35 is worrying about right now as he approaches the very last corner of the endurance. Just seeing the checkered flag now and pulling to the right, finishing the endurance as our third electric car and the fastest overall, taking over the lead.
Congratulations, guys.
Here we just saw that the consistency is the key to finish the race, and also, of course, the reliability. As we see the next car joining the track, and here we go, 159 is the heartbeat of the driver we are probably looking at now.
Yeah, and that's the start of the endurance. This time, this is probably still because of you know, how nervous the driver might be, the adrenaline pumping. But at the end, we will see this heart rate increasing also because of exhaustion.
Yeah, and I think this is also a good opportunity to maybe start talking about the livery, having the James Bond 007 theme all over this year's corporate identity, Jonas.
Yeah, it's their 7th car, Christian, for PRZ Racing, their 2nd electric car. Happy to see them running here on their first lap of the endurance. We also shouldn't forget how quick the car of Pforzheim really is. We're seeing lap times below 1 minute 15. PRZ Racing stopping there after the downhill section. Driver trying to get the car going again.
Yeah, we saw the green light on top of the main hoop.
Yeah, Proton Dynamic now stuck behind them. Marshall's quick to get them past them. Yellow flags out, of course. Still can't see whether the car is back on or not. I think I see the red light flashing again.
Yeah, it looks good. And the car starts moving.
Off they go, yeah. Luckily for them. Little bit of a moment where definitely not something you want on your first lap. Let's hope it will be smoother for the rest of the endurance.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It would be very, very cool to see them also here finishing the endurance. And yeah, we were speaking about Pforzheim driving very, very good lap times. Yeah, in the beginning it looked a little bit difficult for them because they basically never had a clean lap to actually show what they were capable of, also on the timing sheet. But yeah, since we have it, it's basically 1:15, which is very, very remarkable.
Yeah, I think only Schweinfurt at the very beginning of the endurance matched those times. So definitely the fastest car on track. Let's see if they can keep it going. They still got a little bit of distance to the first car that has finished 10 laps so far, 1 minute 25, which is the Maribor. But they got 12 more laps to catch that up.
Yeah, I mean, we see what happened. Huge spin here in front of the stage. Also a couple of issues with the car standing still in between. So, yeah, it's no wonder that the time in total is currently a little bit off the leaderboard.
In the meantime, UPB Drive, the second Romanian team here on the uphill section, also on their 15th lap now. It's looking pretty good for them, also quite consistent. We mentioned it earlier already, both the Romanian teams started this competition with a rear wing, and now we see both of them without it.
Yeah, that's a very interesting coincidence. We don't know exactly what happened there, but there are several reasons for a team to decide to run without a wing. Maybe it was on purpose, maybe it was not, so it was unsafe to drive, deemed by the scrutineers. In the meantime, we see Pforzheim finishing their first run.
Yeah, we see the comment here now, Pforzheim driving only with 3 motors. And that's definitely going to influence their control systems as well. But seemingly doing a pretty good job. But that could also be a reason why the driver is struggling a little bit.
Yeah, huge credit to the driver if this is happening. I mean, running with 3 motors is not easy at all when you have thrust on only 3 out of 4.
And maybe that's what he was trying to fix during the stops at the beginning of his run. But yeah, he changed his approach to learn how to use the car with the 3 motors only, and now he is pushing. And here we have PRZ car, and here we also see the heartbeat of the driver, 167. So it's definitely higher than in the start. So pressure is definitely on.
Yeah, Michael, and in the back of the stage, I could hear the team from Uni Ghent cheering, being super, super happy after they finished the endurance. Christian, why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is? That is a good question, but I think it's an obvious one to answer. I mean, finishing the endurance, this is what you work for, like for a year, building the car, designing the car, manufacturing the car, and going testing. And then to actually achieve this, yeah, it's totally understandable that then you are cheering as the guys were doing it.
Yeah, and this one especially was because they passed the post-inspection. So no disqualification there. And congrats to them for getting this endurance in. And we see the officials touching the car from Pforzheim. It seemed like some flaps were maybe a little bit loose there.
Yeah, it looked like the first and second wing element looked a little bit loose. Let's see if the scrutineers deem this safe to go.
Yeah, we know that they're usually quite tough here with wing elements not being mounted in their original position or not deemed stiff enough to guarantee a safe environment for all the track officials and for the drivers themselves.
Yeah, but looks like Pforzheim is on the starting line. So the officials gave their go that this is good to go. Happy to see that.
But now the team hopes that the flap won't fall down during the run, because that would be disqualification, if I'm right, guys.
Yeah, if you start losing parts, that's definitely a disqualification reason. And to be honest, it's also on the front wing. And I think with all these cones here, hitting some of these cones can increase the risk of losing some of the parts. So I think and I hope that this was communicated to the driver and that he's extra careful on the top right, on the front right corner with hitting cones.
Yeah, on the top of the hill we see some congestion here.
One of the cars was parked there, let's say, but the other two are pushing on. And we can see the car behind is catching. And of course, again, he's hoping to overtake the car here in the overtaking area.
Yeah, Michael, good job by the officials there. Also the second driver from Pforzheim having issues in the hairpin on the hill.
Yeah, we see in the early stint a lot of close calls there with the cones and also with the barrier. I mean, the car is very, very slow in this corner, but over the time, the first driver managed to go around this corner quite well. So let's see also if the second driver is able to do so.
Yeah, and this could also be a result of only 3 motors working for them. I mean, that probably means if that one of the right-sided motors is not working, just not creating any torque, and therefore not letting them pass left-handers as smoothly as they had wanted.
Yeah, I totally agree.
However, they are back on track. Driver from Pforzheim now a little bit slower than before. Actually, quite a bit.
Yeah, they got the meatball flag, so this means they have to pull out, get the technical inspection. We don't know exactly what the reason for it is, but it may be that the car is not capable of making the left turn on top of the hill.
Yeah, nice images here of Proton Dynamic in the driver change area. Congrats to them on finishing the first half of the endurance.
And here we can see the driver arguing with the organizers. And I think the problem would be the flap on the wing is not attached properly, but who knows?
Yeah, it looks like discussions going on about the wing. To be honest, we couldn't see it moving here. So let's see what the marshals in the scrutineering area say.
Yeah, Christian, and now that we only have 2 cars on track right now, PRZ Racing in their 7th lap, and one team getting closer and closer to the finish line, UPB Drive, and it is still rather close. They might actually overtake WT Racing at the end of the endurance if they keep this going, because remember, WT Racing had a moment in their very last lap.
Yeah, they just, as you mentioned, stopped on top of the hill, giving a little bit of a shock to the team members, but then continued to finish the endurance. So yeah, let's see what this time is worth in the end.
Deggendorf E44 on track, and also the driver from E79, Rennschmiede Pforzheim, back on track. Now over to Zuzia for some more voices.
I'm here with Yannis from the E71 team. You just finished, switched the driver. We saw a few spins, we saw a few stops. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, well, we had some quite problems last day, so we adjusted our torque vectoring, of course, a little bit, and implemented some features, and they're not quite tested yet because the practice area is not open yet. So, yeah, it was a good run for the first half, but let's see what the second half gets us.
Okay, are you confident the car is going to get to the very end of the endurance?
I'm very surprised if we do, because it's a full all-wheel drive vehicle, but I'm pretty sure we'll get to the finish line.
Did you adjust anything in the car while you were doing lap, like from one lap to another?
Yeah, like in several curves there's a very tight radius, so I tried to improve my corner radiuses, but nothing else.
Okay. Thank you so much, and now going back to cheering on the team to actually come here and see us in the scrutiny ring. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Car from Pforzheim just about to pass us here. Catching up to E75, PRZ Racing.
So yeah, it seems like the scrutineers gave their go for the front wing, which is super to see.
And the car 84 just finished their driver change, and they will be going again out. And here they go. And also we are coming to the end of the run of the car from Bucharest.
Yeah, getting overtaken here. This could be a bit crucial in terms of trying to overtake WUT Racing, but that's just how it goes when there's a faster car behind you.
Yeah, this was unfortunate. We see a delta of around 9 seconds, but this costs a lot of time when you are in the overtaking zone.
Last lap for them now. Again, they finished their first endurance at FS Balkans earlier this year, just about a week ago.
Yeah, remarkable achievement. But now we also see the delta increasing again. To be honest, I don't think they will make the delta go away in the last lap, but let's see.
Yeah, they just came down the downhill section. On the back straight now. I mean, they've been here the last 3 years already. The beginning only participated in acceleration. The last 2 years also made it through the autocross. Again, finished the endurance at FS Balkans.
Didn't even use the full throttle, so I think it was good.
Well, congratulations, because you're first now. I know there's a lot of points that can either help or actually take the advantage that we gained over the past days. But you successfully finished. Is it what you hoped for?
Yeah, I think it definitely is. Let's see when the big boys come. We're still early in the race, so let's see. I just want to thank my team for everything. It was very good, and also to the other driver, René.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you, Zuza. Really heartwarming to hear the sign of relief in the voice of the driver from Uni Maribor, finishing the endurance here. Yeah, he mentioned two things that we probably need to talk about, probably even together. Those were the big boys and lift and coast.
Okay, I will start with lift and coast. What he meant by that is that before a braking zone, you start lifting off the throttle and kind of roll into the corner, not decelerating that fast, but in the end, and this is crucial, saving more energy. These cars are running with electric motors, and therefore they can use as motors but also as generators. And in the braking zone, they work as generators, feeding as much energy as they can into the battery system back again. So in the total score, and this is something we maybe should also talk about, the energy consumption is also a very important factor. And to gain more points in that, lift and coast is a very popular strategy to increase this score.
Yeah, and Christian, what I meant with that, especially with the big boys, is that we know for a fact that lots of teams are accounting for that amount of energy that they can conserve through the braking zones just by lift and coasting. And they have very, very accurate calculations on how to tackle the endurance the best to get the maximum amount of points in the endurance, so the best time, but also the best points in efficiency.
Yeah, it's absolutely a balance between these two. And you want, in this competition, not necessarily be the fastest in the endurance, but you want to have the maximum points in the combination of endurance, so lap time, and efficiency, which is defined by lap time and energy consumption.
PRZ Racing, in the meantime, getting ready for their second stint. Forward time, taking a couple turns here. Again, it's always the left-handers. Really struggle with the corners there. Car is slowing down a little bit compared to earlier, and then keeps getting some sort of acceleration boost every now and then.
And here we see PRZ Racing joining the track back with their second driver for the second half of their endurance run.
Car from Deggendorf, in the meantime, really pushing it. We see a delta of almost 40 seconds already after the seventh lap, best lap. Still 1:14, but they can keep it up. And they're super consistent with it.
Yeah, and also PWR Racing Team with the 1:11 at the moment, also super fast in their first laps.
Oh, look at that. We could even see some tire warming up uphill from the driver of PRZ Racing. Officials obviously trying to do their best job on releasing the driver onto the track at the safest possible position. Which they managed here. Just gave them a lot of space ahead and in the back of them.
I'm here with Philippe from PRZ Racing Team. I really wanted to quickly ask you about the first lap because we saw your car stop, we saw your team members having a bit of a heart attack.
Yeah, so that was kind of my fault, which I'm sorry for my team. I probably accidentally pressed brake and acceleration pedal, and that's why the car stopped. But I managed to turn it on again and start. So yeah, it's good that it ended just like that.
Yeah, and so you were catching up every lap. How was your confidence growing?
Yeah, every lap was better for me. I felt really better. Grip was better. Brakes were hotter, and I felt the car really good. So I'm happy with the drive, but I think it could have been a little bit better, but I think it's okay. So
I asked the other teams about the tire management. Did you manage the tires in any way here?
Well, mostly I was trying to manage the power. So tires kinda were so not completely. I wasn't completely focusing on the tires, but the power management. So, but I don't think that the tires were hit pretty hard on this attempt. So on this run, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. You can go back to your team and see the second driver.
In the meantime, PWR Racing posting quicker and quicker lap times. We are now down to 1:10. They're just getting quicker every lap.
And this also now is an advantage in the overall delta. They are 6.8 seconds ahead of the current leader.
Here we have camera on E44 car from Deggendorf. It's doing pretty good job going this course. It's one of the most consistent cars we've seen so far, and they've already done 9 laps, so the driver change is slowly coming. It is also visible that the average time is 1 minute 18. The only faster team now is the PWR team, which averaged with average time 1 minute 13. doing their 5th lap.
Yeah, now stuck behind PRZ Racing. Overtaking zone, still a little bit to go.
Yeah, it looked like the driver used the time behind the car to actually warm up the tires a little bit more, weaving around on the uphill section.
Maybe he was trying to put pressure on the second driver to make a mistake, but I wouldn't say so. But maybe that was the tactics also.
The car now ahead of PRZ Racing. We missed the overtaking, but it happened in the overtaking zone on the downhill section. And we got the next car at the driver change, E44 from Deggendorf, Fast Forest. Congratulations.
Yeah, they look also super consistent with the actually 47 seconds advantage of the current leader after the first stint.
Yeah, you can see how much time that cost PWR Racing. 1:21 last lap, whole 11 seconds slower than their quickest. But now going fast again.
The PWR Racing team has, I think, the best lap time we had here so far. Guys, what do you think?
Yeah, just as we said before, they've been pulling down their lap times down to 1:10 now. Let's see if they can pick it up again after they were stuck behind PRZ Racing in the last lap.
And also their average time is pretty solid, 1 minute 14 seconds. That's also one of the best we've seen so far. The car is rear-wheel drive, but as we can see, it doesn't matter. The car is doing still pretty solid times.
Yeah, and also we can see the average being below the average of Fast Forest. So if they keep doing it, I think they will actually end up in the preliminary leaderboard in front of them.
And here we have Pforzheim going through the finish line almost. So let's hope there is only a few hundred meters, and they're finished, they run.
They did it. The team's super happy.
Yeah, Jonas, what a ride that was.
Yeah, wow, I can't believe it, honestly. I mean, first couple laps, car stopping every now and then finally starting to pick up pace. Some huge moments for the driver, spinning, having issues with that tight left-hander up there, taking cones on almost every lap there. Only 3 motors.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, like spinning in front of the stage. Unique experience, I think, for all of us. And also then getting pulled out by the officials because of front wing issues. And yeah, glad to see them finish the endurance. Congrats.
And now we got one of the cars that we expected to see a little later, actually, on track. But they just entered it. It is RWTH from Aachen.
Yeah, they got very, very unlucky yesterday. So the first driver in the autocross spun in both of his runs. And then for the second run, they were actually able to stand at the starting line as the last car, but the car just didn't start it. So Yeah, very unfortunate, but so now we see them very, very early in the endurance.
Yeah, and I'm sure Dustin Klein is going to set new baselines here for fastest times on the track. Getting the hang of it now. Car looking planted right from the get-go. Super twisty, very agile. But again, they are racing with cars they expected to not be racing against now. So let's see if this might cost them some time.
Yeah, and I think they just finished their first lap of the year, their first endurance lap of the year. Since
Christian, sorry to interrupt you there. Talking about finishing, we saw Proton Dynamics from Tioaso finishing the endurance, 22 of 22 laps. Congratulations, guys. That is P3 for now. Time without cones. Very, very happy for them as well. I mean, they participated at FSA, just barely missed out, stopped on the very last lap there. So super happy they finished here.
Yeah, I agree. Congratulations, guys, with an average of 1 minute 31.
So the PWR team just making the driver change, and in the meantime we can see the fastest car we had here so far, and it looks very fast. It's one of the top teams. They even been in the ED finals, so they definitely. Oh, and there we saw one cone just been hit, but the driver is still pushing. Let's hope he will keep up this pace, because at this point he's done 1 minute 04. This is his best lap with average time 1 minute 6. That's the times we haven't seen here so far.
Yeah, we've seen very good lap times being posted already, but this puts it into perspective again, what this car of Aachen really is capable. Second lap 104 already. Let's see how far they can improve here and how consistent they can go over the course of the endurance.
Yeah, and this is now also very, very, hard challenge for the marshals to anticipate when the car will approach the slower cars and make sure that the car doesn't lose too much time while overtaking all the others.
The next car that we see on track, C10 from Bialystok, and they're actually the last year's winners of the endurance and of the event as a whole. I'm not sure they were super happy with their position yesterday in the autocross, but I'm sure they will try to make up as much as possible today in the endurance.
And here we have the driver change of one of the cars. I would think it's the car number 44, but not sure from this angle.
It's E15, PWR Racing.
You also see scrutineers there watching the car, and here we have Cerber Motorsport car C10. And you can see that it's probably the fastest combustion car we had here so far. The car looks planted, and let's see what time it will do.
Yeah, Cerber Motorsport definitely putting on some lap times here. For CV cars, the time that's the best right now from WT Racing from Warsaw, their Polish counterpart.
I think the E9 car is pretty happy that it's on the track with the Cerber Motorsport, because both of the cars are pretty fast. So he has, or the E9 car has one less car to disrupt its lap. And here we have new car on the track, E69.
Yeah, it's the Hawks car from Hamburg. Very, very good to see them on track today. In the meantime, last year's winner, C10, finishing another lap. And now Aachen is approaching PRZ Racing up the hill.
I am not sure if E9 car is pushing as much as it was at the beginning. Maybe it's the tactics, because there is a car in front of it and he knows he can't overtaking until the overtaking area.
Yeah, Michael, this is what we've been talking about, you know, lift and coast. We mentioned it before, just maybe preserving some energy there until he can push again once he's past the overtaking zone.
Yeah, I think this is the best strategy in this case. I mean, they know they are at the moment faster, so just approach the car directly up until the overtaking zone to, yeah, preserve some energy, and in the end you will basically lose the exact amount of time.
In the meantime, PWR Racing, for quite some time already in the driver change. We haven't seen them back on track. Let's hope we can see them soon. And the same obviously goes for E44 from Deggendorf.
Yeah, and just to put this into perspective, the Aachen car is averaging at the moment at 1:07, while their best lap is 1:04. But last lap, due to the overtaking, they were basically only capable of running a 1:17, which is increasing the lap time by around 10 seconds to average. And yeah, this is a huge influence on the overall performance and score, Jonas.
Yeah, and Christian, I have to correct myself as well. We see PWR Racing back on track for their second stint. Bialystok looking super consistent here. I feel like we also see less cones being hit compared to the beginning of the endurance. So maybe also the track conditions, the track evolution, a factor here. Conditions getting better. Also cars that, you know, maybe ran a little more reliable in testing. Drivers a little more experience.
Yeah, actually looking very, very good. We had in the morning, yeah, quite many cone hittings, but now it's been some time now.
Hawks now going past E15 from PWR. Hawks 12. And now also going ahead of PRZ Racing. Christian, I think for now we're doing quite a good job here on not letting cars cost each other too much time. Cars getting pulled in rather sooner than later. Oh, but unfortunately now Aachen stuck behind PRZ Racing, who already had to let go by 2 cars and got the green flag. Aachen car just caught up so much there.
Yeah, this is what we mentioned earlier. The challenge for the organizers and the track marshals is huge when there is such a time difference. It's very, very hard to anticipate. And I think, yeah, this is just a matter of time until, yeah, something like this happens. Unfortunate, but yeah, it is what it is, and you can't change it. And the marshals are doing their best job.
Yeah, all 5 cars on track in the same quarter there. Really, really tough to get this right.
And here we see E69 car on the screen, and as we
one car that we haven't seen on screen unfortunately yet, also not passing us on stage here, E44 from Deggendorf, and no information on them yet, but the driver change definitely taking more time than probably should. Meanwhile, Aachen approaching the driver change area, only 1.5 more laps to go. Quite comfortable leading still. And the same goes for Zerber Motorsport, who are really pulling off a very, very solid endurance run here. 7 laps in to the endurance event. And we've also seen PRZ finishing the endurance event. Came a little slow there at the end, but congratulations on finishing this one.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. Great job. We see Deggendorf re-entering the track from the driver change.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge relief for the team. Super happy for them coming back. Zerber getting the blue flag here with TWR racing behind them. The driver seemingly not very happy about it. It seemed like the Aachen car was let go by, and the PWR car just snuck by as well. So it might be that the Zerber car now catches back up to PWR and has to overtake them.
And here we have E9, the Aachen car, and again it's stuck behind a slower car. In one shot before we saw that there were 5 slower cars in front of the Aachen. This is something that is very bad for them because their time is just getting worse. And here we have the driver change.
Yeah, very solid showing from Aachen so far. Let's hope they can keep it up afterwards. E15 pulling away definitely from C10. 2 Polish teams seem very, very equal on pace right now. You can also see the same in the lap time.
We can see that people watching the stream want to see the car E9 more often. That's very understandable because the car is doing amazing pace, amazing runs, and it's the fastest car we had here so far.
Yeah, Aachen, we shouldn't forget, you know, they were the fastest car in autocross at FSA earlier this year. You know, yesterday those errors, they can happen. They stood in line for quite some time. But Christian, do you actually know what happened to them, why they couldn't go for their 3rd and 4th autocross runs?
Yeah, so in general, so they had a spin in with their first driver. In both of his runs, and the second spin actually landed them onto the grass. So the car was waiting there until it got picked up. And yeah, the low voltage battery was drained by the fans in total. So they then needed to head back to the pits because, yeah, unfortunately also while recovering the car, the front wing got a little bit damaged. So They got back in the line, started, but then the low voltage battery was too empty to actually start the run. They needed to gamble because there was no time to recharge it.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. And now we got Zusa with another interview.
A C96 team from Romania's driver. How was your performance? You're currently second in the combustion category.
Oh, really? Are we? Okay, I did not know that. That's
Out of 2 though.
yes, it's still promising because it was quite surprising during all the laps seeing the DNF cars. Like it was just constantly piling and seeing like up on the hill and then up and otherwise on the back straight. So, but it's still fine. So far, I don't think it's that important considering if we're top or anything like that. We're still quite a young team. Like this is our fourth car which has passed officially scrutineering in terms of Formula student competitions. This year was more of just getting a good foundation and having a reliable car which can pass all the scrutineering stages. And then from then onwards, we can think about performance.
Amazing. And we saw you today running without your back wing. You told me that there were some problems with it yesterday?
Yeah, long story short, there was a very short notice decision that we should take it off. I think the guys just didn't like the way it looked. Maybe it was just based on taste. But I think the car, we're kind of used with seeing it without the rear wing. And you can even see more of the beauty of a combustion engine. You can see the admission, you can see the exhaust, you can see every mechanical part on it.
Yeah, that's super impressive. And is there any difference when you're driving it with and without the back wing?
Unfortunately, regarding this, I'm not quite 100% sure because in terms of simulations, what we've done was just to see something at higher speeds. We didn't really fully consider what's happening during mid or low speed sections, but as of now, the car feels very stable in terms of the way the aerodynamic package responds, and I think it's a good start for what we are preparing for the car.
You told me that it was stressful when you saw all of the cars DNFing and going back. Is it the being overtaken or overtaking someone also something you're stressed about?
I wouldn't be because I have a lot of trust in the scrutineers and the marshals that are out on the track. Each incident that might have happened while I think there was the Rose Squad's car, which at some point right under the bridge it spun out. But I was quickly noticed with a yellow flag that I have to slow down. So in terms of being told that I can overtake or I have to be overtaken, I don't think there's an issue in that.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much. Also, congratulations for passing the scrutineer. I know it's also a stressful part.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Zusa. Nice to get that insight on why they took the decision on taking that rear wing off. And also we see the Aachen car back on track for the second half of the endurance. Driver taking off where the other driver stopped. 105 in the first lap already, increasing the lead on the electric timesheet. And another team with quite a big lead for all the teams that have finished 20 laps here. PWR Racing now 2 minutes ahead of Maribor. And only 1.5 more laps to go for them to finish the endurance here.
Yeah, the time they will finish, they will be probably, hopefully, first or P1 at this point. And yeah, after that we have to wait for the E9 car as they will finish because they are doing amazing pace. And here we have the fastest time so far, 1 minute 2.6 seconds.
Yeah, wow, incredible. Really, really incredible. Definitely shows the second driver is as capable as the first one. Setting the benchmark here for all the other teams and also in a decent window right now. Not too much traffic ahead of him.
Yeah, the position on the track is very important, especially when you have fast car and you are at the beginning of the endurance.
Yeah, now catching up to Deggendorf, who seemingly run a little bit slower than in their first run. And one more car on track, E05 from Stralsund, Baltic Racing, starting their endurance now, 22 laps to go. Teams and driver change right now, Hawks Racing and Server Motorsport, while E15 PWR on their very fast lap. One more time through the bridge, left-hander here, chicane in front of the stage. One more left-hander, another chicane, and then off to the checkered flag they go. PWR Racing finishing the endurance. Congratulations.
Congratulations, and in a very, very, very good time. They averaged at around 1:17. Super impressive what we've seen.
First place right now overall in the electric category. We've seen them finish in the endurance already at FS Netherlands this year. P7 there in endurance. Unfortunate DNF in Austria, but finishing here again, super happy for the team. And also last year, we remember, you know, they finished their first endurance with the electric car here. Unfortunately got disqualified in the post-greenering, but considering that they passed it at FS Netherlands this year, I'm sure they won't have these issues today. Congratulations again. Car from Aachen not slowing down at all. 1:02.03. Driver super consistent, just around the 1:02, 1:03 mark.
Yeah, and I think at the moment he also is a little bit more lucky than the first driver with upcoming traffic.
Yeah, only three cars on track right now. With the next one, C89 from TU Ostrava, about to join the track. Officials obviously doing their best job to get them into a space where they won't interfere with anybody else and also won't get interfered with. Aachen now catching up to Baltic Racing. Driver still getting used to the track here.
And now is the bad situation for the E9. They have to be there like sitting ducks, basically waiting for the overtaking area. And in the meantime, the TU Ostrava car just started their endurance race. Let's wish them luck and let's watch them closely how they will do. And there was oversteer on the exit because the tires are cold. Here we saw E9 is again at full speed.
Yeah, and you can directly see them picking up the pace, pulling up a huge gap to Baltic Racing. And now they also have a clean track ahead. I think the next car will be the Deggendorf car, which is just entering the uphill section.
Yeah, Deggendorf entering their 17th lap. And also Hawks Racing from Hamburg back on track for the endurance.
Okay.
And we got the leaders of the electric category on the microphone with Susa.
I'm here with the leader and the first driver of today from PWR Racing Team. Congratulations, you're hopefully still currently first. How was the track today?
It was pretty nice to drive, but the grip is not as expected. So at the first lap, it was kind of tricky to feel the track and also the car, but the feeling of the car was amazing. So also with the low speed and high speeds, the car felt amazing. Yeah, so we are pretty excited after the endurance, but now there's the next stage. the post-inspection. So I'm keeping fingers crossed with our car after the endurance.
But our commentators said that they're confident you're going to go for it because you already had some pretty good season today, this year.
Yeah, that's our last competition. We started with the Easter, which we won. So that's some comeback to the first places. Yeah, but we don't want to stay at this level and go further. So we'll implement some huge upgrades with the car for the next season. So we will see.
So a lot of work ahead for next season.
A lot.
Okay, then all the best for that and see you next year, huh?
Yeah, thank you, Zuza there. Very, very happy for PWR Racing.
Yeah, and while we see car number C89 in the endurance, picking up the pace. Maybe it's also a good time while the Aachen car get the last lap sign to speak about the reliability we've seen so far, Jonas. I am, to be honest, very impressed at the early stage.
Yeah, 100% Christian. I mean, we've seen a couple DNFs at the very beginning of the session, but now just super, super reliable cars. Sometimes, you know, picking up pace every now and then losing it again. But overall, every car seems to be somewhat reliable now. Let's hope as many cars as possible can finish the endurance.
Yeah, and we've also seen it over the last few days. We have a lot of cars actually finishing the technical inspection, and this trend just continues also into the endurance. The cars and the teams are good prepared for this competition.
Aachen now on their last turn. One chicane here, checkered flag. Congratulations to them. Jumping ahead of PWR Racing in the standings. Remarkable times set here. Definitely a little bit of a redemption for yesterday.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think this time will stand now for a long time to be beaten today.
What we also have to mention here, the times we see on the screen, there is no penalty times. There is also possibility the post-scrut won't be okay. So just keep it in mind when watching these times. But obviously the E9 had amazing run. It was just a bit hurting to see how the other cars just slowing this car a bit on this track.
Yeah, Osterer also pushing it now. Very well within reach still of the fastest time from Serber Motorsport back in the third lap, who unfortunately didn't join us yet for their second stint in the driver change area. We haven't got information on them. Let's hope that they can get their issues sorted and get back on track with us. But the driver change also taking a little longer here than we've seen earlier. Than they should be.
And the Fast Forest E44 car is just going for its last lap.
Yeah, I got the last lap time here. So very, very intriguing moment for the driver. Snowing. Now I need to bring it home. All these turns one more time. You start hearing noises, you know, everywhere.
In the meantime, we have Czech car on the screen. It's doing so far 2 seconds slower cars than the Cerber Motorsport. So let's see if he will pick up the pace, or maybe the driver change will speed up the car as we've seen in the E9 car. So E44 car just going through the left-hander, one of the last turns of their run, small chicane. And here we go. Finish line for the E44 car.
Yeah, Deggendorf here. Niklas Friedel bringing it home for Fast Forest. Congratulations there. Participated in so many dynamics here as well. Not just the manual driving, but also the driverless disciplines. Be really proud of themselves of finishing all of them.
And now we have two Czech cars behind each other on the track. It's Steve Brno that you can see here on the screen. Four-wheel drive electric car. For the first time in the previous seasons, they always had only the rear-wheel drive, so it's a big step. And Christian Pokorny just driving the car to its limits.
Yeah, that's right. And in the meantime, we see also car number E76 at the starting line, KA Racing from Karlsruhe. And also this car is a car without a front wing. Yeah, Jonas or Michael, can you explain what happened yesterday in the skid pad?
Yeah, unfortunately for them, it looked like the driver didn't quite know where to exit the skid pad there, went into the tire barrier, but really, really good job on the team on fixing that, you know. I mean, suspension or the monocoque could have been damaged as well, but they got on the track in the afternoon on autocross.
Yeah, it was super good. They got to re-inspection afterwards. The scrutineers gave their go. The rate is now reduced to 170 kilos without the front wing. So it's super to see them here today.
Yeah, and also we could see the driver yesterday at first fighting a little, but then adjusting and adapting quite well to the car's behavior without the front wing. Really good job there, and showcasing how the teams can, you know, overcome any situation.
Even though the car hasn't got the front wing, it looks actually pretty fast. It's a question if the team made some torque vectoring change for the setup of the car to make it better with these conditions, but also, yeah, the car is doing actually pretty well.
Now okay, racing in front of the stage, last corner, last chicane for their first lap. And the time is a 1:20 without a front wing. That's a very, very good time.
Yeah, definitely, Christian. They're still trying to be in contention here.
Yeah, and seeing that comment, we want to see more of the Hawks. Maybe we should also speak a little bit about the season the team from Hamburg had so far. And yeah, they were not really happy about it. Let's say it this way, Jonas.
Yeah, it was a very, very rough season for them. Definitely not the season that they had imagined for their 20th car that they're building this year. And you know, just manufacturing or helping them to manufacture stuff. But yeah, super happy to see them here.
Yeah, definitely, because they had to cancel the first event of the season, and being here now for the first event, looking good so far in the endurance also. So huge respect and shout out to the team. Great job this year.
Yeah, Bruno also picking up the pace now, 1:19.04 in their fourth lap. Up the hill they go, through the chicane.
Yeah, one of the local teams that basically know the track very, very well. They've been here since, I think, from the beginning. So it's basically their home track and home competition.
Yeah, prestige event for them. And we can also see the stats of Formula TU Ostrava here. A team that is definitely still in contention for an overall podium in the CV category. Finals for engineering design and business plan. So might even go for a win there. We will see.
Yeah, I mean, they are very, very close currently. And provisional P1, as you mentioned, podium places, seems to be within the reach in this, in this discipline.
In the driver change, in the meantime, Baltic Racing, again the oldest team on mainland Europe, everywhere apart from the UK.
Yeah, very good addition here, Jonas. But you're right, Baltic Racing, also therefore the oldest German team.
And we got another interview with Sousa.
From the Fast Force team, you guys are third overall in the category now. I mean, in the performance today. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty well. The car behaves pretty well, and the car did a great job, I think. And yeah, we are happy we finished it.
So you told me you had some issues during the driver change, and what happened?
Yeah, the brake light was on, although no one was pushing the brake, but we think that was a pretty much silly failure, and it's all right.
And it worked now. Okay. Well, big congratulations. How was it driving for you today?
It was very cool because yesterday we didn't manage to make a second autocross run, and so it was my first time driving in Czech, and it was pretty cool, I think, yeah.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much, and now all the best for scrutineering, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, good job, and also good job on them finishing after that hassle in the driver change there. Nice to hear what the issue was. And speaking about driver change, Formula SAE Ostrava just pulling into it, now getting ready with their second driver and trying to tackle the quickest combustion time, which is still held by WUT Racing from Warsaw.
Yeah, and I'm just looking here to the left from the stage, seeing the Hawks car approaching the last corners. Marshall already has the checkered flag in her hands. Last corner, last chicane, and they are done. Finishing the endurance. What a way to start the season, Jonas.
Wow. Yeah, I honestly got a little bit goosebumps as well hearing the Hawks guys screaming here. Really, really good to see them pulling into the pits here.
Yeah, I mean, the guys and girls from the team are super excited. I think also the driver will be, after that rough start, finishing the endurance in the basically first event they attended this year. Great job.
Yeah, car racing still on track, now improving their lap times to 1:12, which is simply incredible. We've only seen 2 cars going quicker than that as of now, who were PWR and, well, of course, the E9 car from Aachen. And this is just a really, really good performance of the driver. Now really getting the hang of the car, driving it without the front wing.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, the car looks reasonably balanced, given the fact that they don't have a front wing on it. Driver getting more and more comfortable since yesterday also. Looking good.
Yeah, I do agree. The 1 minute 10 seconds time is pretty good for the car without a front wing. and it also looks pretty balanced actually. Talking about the TU Brno car, there are definitely some issues. Unfortunately, definitely the car is not performing at its full power, and we also see here in the comment section that the teams are directly commenting and watching the stream, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, while car racing is finishing the next lap. And now they have also a clean track ahead for some time now, so the driver can really focus on finding the limit, improving the lap time even further. And with the 110, as you mentioned already, very good timing so far. Averaging at around 115, so very consistent also.
Yeah, I would like to see the times with the front wing. I think they would. I would be very interested when they would be in comparison with E9 car.
In the meantime, we see car number C89 going for the green flag again.
Yeah, we've got yellow flag on the track, but not in this part of the track we are watching on our screens. This is K Racing pushing. And I have to say he's much faster than before. And here we see the E31 car.
Yeah, Munich Motorsport just joined the track. Seems to be stopping at the hill section.
Yeah, and behind it...
I'm with the Hawks Racing Team driver. You guys just took over the third spot. We interviewed the team E44 who had it, so big congrats. We spoke in the studio that this is your first competition this season, and it's a pretty big achievement to reach it until the end and be here in the post-scrutineering.
Yeah, so it went really well. Unfortunately, we weren't able to drive at the full pace we estimated. But I think for the first event this year, it went really well. And yeah, just happy to be finished. And third place sounds nice.
How was the battery? How was the performance today?
Yeah, so the performance was a bit lower than we wanted to drive to. Because, as I said, it's the first event. We hadn't that much of a testing time. And so there's room to improve.
Are you going to any more events this year, and is this a good preparation for it?
Yeah, I think event is of course good preparation, not only for the car but also for the whole team as such, of course also for drivers. And we're going to Italy late September, and in the meantime we will get the car even faster and then of course run at the limit.
Of course. Well, thank you so much and good luck for the post-scrutineering now.
Thanks.
Thank you very much there. In the meantime, we were seeing the Munich car pushing back, or basically rolling back the hill section, controlled by the marshals. And unfortunately, it's a DNF for them. They had high expectations. We were speaking with the team. We're going for a top 5 position here. But still, very sad to see them DNF only a couple hundred meters after the starting line.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I think it's not the last car we saw died on the hill section of the track, just behind the track. And here we have driver change for the TU Brno in the meantime. And yeah, finally the car from the Munich is from the track. It's a very bad position for the car to stop, mainly for the other drivers, unfortunately, because there is no way to put the car to the safe spot. You have to go like this with the yellow flags.
Yeah, the hill is especially bad because also you can't, as a driver, leave the car because the car will start rolling. So you need to have assistance from the marshals to basically guide you down or stop the car from rolling backwards.
And now we have C89 car waiting for the start. The engine just started and they just joined the track for their second stint. So Ostrava is back on the track.
Yeah, they needed to wait a little bit until the Munich car was cleared. But I think it's the best for them because now they don't have to slow down during the yellow flags up the hill. And it's also the safest option, just to wait on the starting line and then go for it on a clean track. While we now also see KA Racing approaching the finish line for their driver change.
So let's see if they will put a faster time after this. For the following driver, it's going to be also hard to drive the car because he not used to drive the car, of course, without the front wing. So let's see the improvement. Also, the E05 car just joined the track, and here we see the car from the Ostrava pushing. It's pretty loud here, pretty unusual because most of the cars are electric. So it's also nice to hear some high revving engine here.
Yeah, and speaking of the combustion category, we just got the information that car number C10, Servo Motorsport, had suspension issues during the driver change, so they are not allowed to continue the endurance and therefore are DNF'd on this event.
That's a pretty sad C10 DNF, one of the fastest combustion car here on the event. It's pretty unfortunate for them. Let's hope they will score points again in the next event.
Yeah, I agree. They were definitely on a good run there, only 8 seconds off the leaderboard during the driver change.
So, if I'm right, the Tio Ostrava then is the fastest combustion car we have here so far. So let's hope they will be able to finish their run. Let's hope everything will go smoothly.
Yeah, just overtaking the car from Baltic here, right in front of the stage. Now going up the hill. And also the Baltic car looking very consistent over the last laps. It's also great to see.
And now we are looking on downhill section of the Tio Ostrava car. We see the driver picks a nice line going through the hairpins. Oh, now he just shot, unfortunately, 2 cones down, probably due to the lock-up of the front brakes, but yeah, it's tough to say from this angle, but he's back in the rhythm, back pushing.
Yeah, we haven't seen cones for a long time, I think, now. So it's actually, yeah, I don't know, half an hour maybe, when we saw the last cone hitting here. So also good job by the driver so far.
Yeah, maybe it's just because the cars that are going now are more drivable and the drivers are just able to put them stably and consistently on their limit.
Yeah, normally the track is known for being very tight and narrow. So yeah, to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen that many cones for such a long time. So it only speaks for the drivers today.
In the background we can see Autodrom Most, where the motorcycle is having a fun, but that's not the event we are looking for today, of course, because we are here for FSCZ. Here we can see the Czech car. Oh, it's not the Czech car, sorry. It's a TU Budapest. That's another car that just joined the track, and this was their first lap. So let's see the comparison, because both of the teams you are now seeing on the track, the combustion cars, had been in the ED finals. So they definitely have some good approach for their design. So let's see how the car performs in the real life.
Yeah, very exciting to see. I mean, I don't know if it's hearable during the screen, but we can actually hear the front wing and also the engine sounds. Yeah, when the car is passing by the stage. So, yeah, very, very loud. Budapest looking very, very good on the back straight. Also here, front wing touching the ground again, but also here doing the chicane. The driver already has a lot of confidence in the car and in the track. Now going up the hill in the slalom. And also improving their lap time even further, 1:14 currently.
And next car on track, WHZ Racing from Zwickau. Good luck to them, 22 laps to go.
Yeah, they're normally a very, very good team. Also here, some success over the last years here.
Yeah, probably starting slightly earlier today than they anticipated. Last year they were in the finals, and the 2 years before they took home the crown in the competition, while trying to gain as many points as possible again in the endurance event. Question in chat was if the endurance track is the same as in the last year, Christian?
Yeah, I think this is the same for the autocross track. We mentioned it yesterday. So the marshals are actually setting up the track via GPS. So plus minus 4 centimeters is currently what we are tracking and expecting on the track layout. So to answer the question, I think yes, it is as identical as it can be.
Yeah, absolutely right, Christian. So the only things that are really changing and make a comparison harder are track conditions and outside temperatures, which is already a bit surprising today. I mean, we expected way different weather.
Yeah, it completely evolved over the last week. I mean, we had the warmest night today, but also now the morning is quite cloudy and we haven't seen that much sun yet. But still we expect the highest temperatures of the whole week with 31 to 32 degrees today. So let's see what the afternoon is also capable of doing regarding temperatures.
So the C82 car from the Budapest is doing pretty good times, almost similar average time to the Czech team that's now going through the driver change, I would say, because I can't see it here on the screen. But yeah, that's even faster times than we've seen with the Poland team, Cerber Motorsport. So they are, I would say, one of the fastest combustion car we have here. And here we see in action in the overtaking zone, blue flags.
Chad, absolutely right here. Theo Austria, brilliant pace, super consistent, definitely in the mix here. I mean, they got themselves in a really good position before.
And here we can see E96 cars that unfortunately struggled yesterday to put there a good time. That's also why we are seeing it this early. But the car is a beast, let's say. It's pretty fast. It hasn't been there that many changes since last year, but last year we saw this car battling in the finals and it was pretty exciting. But unfortunately, guys, I don't know if you've seen it, but there were a few spins for the E96 cars, if I'm not wrong, in the
Yeah, you can see it here, the points that WHZ got in the previous competitions and the previous disciplines. Not quite where we're used to seeing them here, so really happy to see them pushing it in the endurance again.
There is a yellow flag and the car is stopped and the driver doesn't seem happy.
Yeah, he's shaking his head there. Got it, obviously. We don't see what it is yet. The TSAL is on green. Stopped on the track, so it needs to get pushed out. Some drivers also doing it to buy themselves a little more time to get this car running again. But I don't see the driver trying anything else right now.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate to see. Basically also last year weren't able to attend the dynamics here at this event. So they did a lot of progress.
Yeah, I mean, this was also their approach this year, right? I mean, they tried to get the car running as early as possible to get testing time in. Actually, we're very successful at that, so it's even more sad to see them pushing out now, but definitely a huge step up from the previous season.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
considering that they've only been building electric cars for 2 years now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a huge step up also this season. And to be honest, it's not their last event, so they still got a chance to have this completed in this season.
Yeah, they will tackle FS France next. And now we see the presumably last car that was queuing before the lunch break on track, getting released on track. FS Oulu from Finland, the FS Balkans winners.
And Ostrava just finished their run. That's amazing because they are, I think, the fastest combustion car so far. And if we are looking at the times between the C82 and C89 cars, the best laps, they are almost the same. So it's going to be a tough fight for the C82 car at this point.
Yeah, it will be super close here, but really impressive time there from Ostrava, 27 minutes and 51 seconds. Second fastest time that we've seen overall, putting them well ahead of WUT Racing for now, and I'm sure that BME and Oulu will try to get as close to them as possible. And then there's a couple more combustion cars coming after the lunch break.
One of those cars is, for example, another Czech car which had faster autocross time yesterday. It's from Prague and it's called Zuls Prague, of course. So let's wait after the lunch what they will bring to the table. And let's, of course, see what the C82 car will be able to do. They are not yet in the half of the race, so we're gonna see. But we have here a pretty fast car, actually, from Oulu. As we see on the comments, fans are cheering. Yeah, it's this purple car. Let's see how they do. Sakar is behind the wheel of this car. He's one of the team's aerodynamicists. This team has the aerodynamics department of this team is only 3 people, so it's not big. But as you can see, it doesn't mean that the car is slow, because on the skid pad they were doing pretty solid times yesterday or the day before even. And also we have lap times from the VHZ. They just did their best lap time. It's 1 minute 07.8, which is pretty solid time.
Yeah, definitely. It's basically matching their time also here from last year. And this is only the first driver, so they still have a lot of opportunity to match their best time from last year, which was basically 1:7.0.
Yeah, last year we had here a fight and they were the ones without the fans and they were against Johanneum, and it was pretty intense fight because the Johanneum ran out of battery at the end, so it was pretty intense. But now back to the Oulu car, C92 going up the hill through the slalom and under the Skoda banner there.
And now BME pulling in for the driver change, and we are moving to Zusa for another interview. Sorry about that. No interview for now, maybe later. Congratulations to BME Motorsports. They're for finishing their first run. They're definitely on the pace right now with TU Ostrava. It will be a super close fight between them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They were putting a pretty solid show, the Ostrava team. And yeah, the crowd is here from the Czech Republic because it's their home race, so let's hope they will do well. And let's see how the Budapest will answer. So far, the Oulu team did just the best lap so far. It's 1 minute 15 seconds. We've seen the similar times before from the team TU Ostrava, but they slowly kept it under 13 seconds. So let's hope that the Oulu will do something similar and they will keep up their pace. Yeah, here we have fans in the comment section of the Ostrava team, and also we see Zwickau overtaking the Oulu car. We can see that the car is stuck to the ground, and also now we can see the Oulu car going through the same corners in a bit lower speed, I would say.
Yeah, this had a small hiccup getting restarted after being overtaken, but good to see them that they can continue. Seems to be not a big issue. While the Zwickau car just got the checkered flag.
Yeah, pulling into the driver change there. So Ulu, the only car on track for now. But yeah, this is exactly what you mentioned earlier, right? I mean, there's cars like Zwickau and Aachen on here quite a bit faster than the other cars on track right now. Even though here we're also fighting for the wins in the combustion category. And yeah, you know, those overtakes here can very well cost them precious time they need to fight the other combustion competitors.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is also a very tough situation for the track marshals. There's sometimes situations where you just can't get it right. But yeah, I mean, also now for Zwickau, I think it's a very good situation. We have a pretty empty track in comparison what we had earlier, since there's no queue currently at the moment. So yeah, I think also in the second stint they can extend maybe a little bit their lap time.
100% agree, Christian. Definitely the position you want to be in as a driver. Ulu is setting decent lap times as well all the time. Have front wings scraping massively here in front of stage, but looking rigid enough. But yeah, it doesn't seem like they will hold up WHZ even when they're back on track.
Yeah, and I think it's a very, very good feeling for the driver, seeing a complete empty track. I mean, you can see it from the top of the hill. No car is in front of you, and you know that you can just push it and focus on getting the right lines.
Meanwhile, the hybrid car from BME Motorsport, TU Budapest, back on the track, seemingly smooth driver's change, and now going for another 10 laps. Stuck in neutral up the hill.
Yeah, sounds like the gear is not engaging, it's still rolling. You hear the revs going up.
Luckily, quick enough there to roll for quite some time.
But it looks like the gear is not engaging. We have yellow flags on the uphill section.
You can hear the revs just going up super high there.
Yeah, the C82 car has definitely some problems with the gearbox or the clutch. Just not able to put it in the gear. Now the countdown will be done because they have just some amount of time to get going, right?
Yeah, right. We mentioned earlier already, obviously it's a decision by the track marshals, depending on where the car stops, how many other cars are on track, how safe it is, but usually a good margin is around 1 minute to get the car going again.
Yeah, so now the engine switched off. Maybe this is also a strategy of the driver to just kind of reset all the rotating parts inside the engine and maybe then get the gear engaged.
Yeah, he definitely got the engine running again, trying his best to get the gears in.
And he's hitting the rev limiter quite often, trying to get some movement into the car.
Christian, what do you do now? You just try to get any gear in, right? Like you try first up to, I don't know, maybe fourth, maybe fifth gear here.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, you just, as a driver in this situation, you're pushing every button you can reach, to be honest, just trying to get anything going, maybe trying to roll back a little bit, to get some of the gearbox moving, but it doesn't really look very good at the moment.
Yeah, and as Ulu is passing them for the second time here, the car is being pushed off, unfortunately resulting in a DNF for BME Motorsports.
Yeah, that's super sad to see, especially only a couple hundred meters after they restarted.
Yeah, leading the combustion category as well. The driver's out now. Marshall's replacing the cones that are left. Unfortunate for them, but very, very strong showing so far. The car definitely has lots and lots of potential.
Yeah, they were one of the top contenders here. So sad to see.
But for example, the E96 car is just waiting on the start to be back with the second driver. So this is a lot of a lot unfortunate for the Budapest, but on the other hand, the E96 car has clear track and he can push more. It's actually the perfect time to be on the track at this point for the fast car as E96 is.
Yeah, I think they're still waiting to release the cars since BMW Motorsports need to be pushed away, also to have the car clear. And now off they go. We don't have a yellow flag anymore. Car is in a safe spot. So Zwickau is on the way.
Yeah, driver finding grip immediately, just going around those cones so smoothly, so close to them as well. Lots of confidence there. I'm sure we will see even quicker lap times, or at least on the same level as in the first run.
And maybe Jonas, if I can ask you, what would be your strategy if you have one faster driver and one slower driver? Who would drive first and why?
Well, I mean, I think in autocross the strategy would be different than in endurance. You know, in endurance the key is consistency. So the strategy, in my opinion, should always be to get the driver that has more experience in the car, that has the better technical understanding of the car, drive the car at the later stint, and have the other driver drive it before, independently on who might be the faster one on a single time lap. And now I hear that we have another interview going on just right as Formula SAE Ulu is about to pull into the driver change.
I'm here with both of the drivers from the Ostrava team. When I told you guys you are currently the leaders of the combustion category, you were in disbelief and asked me to check again.
I hope it will stay. We will stay first. So.
We are not sure because we still need to finish post-scrutiny. So let's hope it will stay like that.
But you put in some good timings today. How is the car performing?
The car was great. I was very satisfied with this setup.
I would say car is always good, just drivers are somehow not okay sometimes.
How is it between you guys when you change and the second? Do you give each other some info in between, or how does it work for you?
We just say go fast and if it was good or not, so nothing special, I think.
On a serious note, if nothing is broken, let's say, and nothing is, for example, bad on the track, we'll just say that everything is fine. Just take care, maybe on that corner back there, but usually, for example, nowadays we had no issues, so we just say enjoy, have fun, and the car is okay. So it was really good, really satisfied. I would say also I performed like 8 endurance in my life and finished only 2 of them, so this was somehow really good achievement for the team also. It was nice.
How about you? Is it also your second fully finished endurance?
No, I finished twice, but he didn't finish last race.
This is also your home competition. Does it feel any more special?
Yeah, I think it is.
Apart that you need to take care of what you say in front of the judges and the scrutineers on the scrutiny. That's one important note to have in mind.
But so are you satisfied with the performance today? Are you confident for the final results, or did you have any more hopes?
We hope we pass the post-scrutiny, so after that we will say more, maybe.
But I can say that I already saw some teams on the track. Some of them were either DNF or DQ. So I think that hopefully we can get the podium today. That would be nice.
Oh, that's a really cool. Well, thank you guys. If
we will pass the post-scrutiny.
This is the most stressful part. I feel like it's a very big relief after you finish, but then there's still some level of stress.
Yes, it is. My heartbeat is like 93 right now, so yeah, I'm under the stress.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and good luck for the post-scrutineering.
So here, back on the track with the E96 car, we've heard from the guys from the Ostrava that they were very surprised that they are first, because they maybe didn't expect the C82 car from the Budapest and Cerber Motorsport to unfortunately DNF at this point. So they are pretty happy, and yeah, we're gonna see how the next Czech team with the combustion car will do.
Yeah, I think we still got Prague lined up in the afternoon session, who were also first in autocross time-wise yesterday. Definitely another competitor here that is super, super close to Ostrava will be Ulu. And we hear the guys from PWR Racing shouting because they are super happy that they passed the post-screening. Am I right, Susa?
So the Oulu car...
I'm here with Pavel from the Wrocław team. You guys just completed your scrutineering successfully.
These are the best guys, the best warriors at this competition. And there you can see the tent of the greatest team in this competition and the Europe.
Super excited. We can see that the emotions after passing the scrutineering are super high. I feel like all of the drivers, when you talk to them, they're quite still stressed. They're super relieved that it's over, but there's still some level of stress for them because they don't know. You could have got super good run. You're super proud of the team. You're super proud that you competed and that you finished, because that's also an achievement. We saw a lot of disqualifications, a lot of teams not finishing. Even seeing the car on the track, as the guys already said in the studio, is a huge, huge achievement. But actually going through that, they've been here for around 30 or 40 minutes, constantly guessing, will it pass, will it go through? And well, what a relief. Honestly, super great to be here and to see this in person. Now, coming back to the guys in the studio, because I think there's still some action happening on the track.
Yeah, thank you, Susa, on that one. It was actually really nice to see the emotion there from the PWR guys after their past post-screening. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's still 2 more cars on track before the lunch break. WHZ Racing Team, improving lap by lap now down to 1:04, almost in the range of the times that the Aachen driver posted earlier.
Yeah, and I think there's one big advantage, and that is the clear track for Zwickau here. So we will see how this will play out over the course of the second stint. But they are actually in a very good situation at the moment. Also improving the lap time in comparison to last year by around 3 seconds.
Yeah, Ulu, in the meantime, also on track, just going for it now. And we just heard the guys from Ostrava being super happy about them leading so far right now, but this will definitely be the first team that can try and challenge them. If they keep it up here, starting off with a lead of 12.7 seconds into the last 10 laps. Yeah, we can also see the delta from WHZ Racing to Écurie from Aachen. 37 seconds, quite a bit. But we also know that Aachen has had some major hold-ups in the last couple laps of their stint. So this delta could very well increase if Zwickau keeps this up.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the average is currently at around 1.8. So they're scraping off 4 seconds every lap. Not to the delta, obviously, but yeah, as you mentioned, they had huge hold-ups during the second run. Let's see how this will evolve. But to be honest, Jonas, there's nothing the driver can do other than pushing, right?
Yeah, he has to push, but don't push too much, because there are cones, of course, and he just has to stay under the control of the car and be as fast as possible. And as we can see, he also made, this driver is pretty consistent. He's making the similar times every lap, so let's see if he can keep it.
Yeah, and we can also see the distance decreasing to the current leaders in the EV category.
And now we saw behind the Ulu car is the Zwickau car, so they're going to be definitely overtaking in this lap. And yeah, now C98 car is just going through the finish line, and it's a combustion car, so it's pretty loud compared to the car following it, the Zwickau car. So let's see if the Zwickau will get it and will beat the Aachen. They have 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and the Ulu car is also very fast, but I can hear we can switch over to another interview.
We saw some requests on the chat to talk to you guys. So this is former student Oulu. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, you did.
How was the race? How is it going for you? How was the first part of the endurance?
It felt good. I drove on the second gear in accident for the first 3 laps, but after we got that over with, it was pretty good.
You told me it was your first endurance, right?
Yeah, first competition endurance.
How does it feel?
It feels good. It feels good. I think I did okay.
And what are your hopes? Do you think the team is going to finish, it's going to reach the end? Because you're currently, that I looked before we just talked, first, so you're leading in terms of time.
We'll see, we'll see. I hope Laura can bring it the boy home, as we said.
And then the post-scrutineering, we just talked to some teams that passed it successfully. Do you also have some fears for that?
Not really, not really. I think our car is pretty solid.
Very confident in the car and in the team.
Yes, of course.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And enjoy watching it now. Oh, we have the team there.
Yeah, thank you, Suze and Zachary. Cool guy. Seems like he just came out of the sauna.
Yeah, which is definitely not a problem because they have it on the campsite.
Exactly.
Maybe he was going for a short run in the morning.
Yeah, and as you just mentioned, 2 cars on track still. WHZ Racing, 1.5 laps to go. We're stuck for a little bit behind Ulu on the previous lap, so they couldn't reduce the delta to Aachen there.
And the checkered flag is out for the Zwickau car, finishing the endurance. Congratulations.
Yeah, that definitely must have been a relief for them as well. Potential of the car definitely there. You can see them beating their lap times from last year over and over at the very end of it. So really, really impressive performance there, and definitely shaping up to be in the mix for a very, very good position in the endurance event.
Yeah, we were speaking earlier what's important in this discipline, and one thing is definitely consistency of the driver. And this is exactly what we've seen from the Zwickau car, putting in their 1 minute force all the time, except for like one occasion where they basically had to overtake a car, but still super consistent of the driver.
And we were already talking about this, but you just have to consider, you only need that one car stuck in, some issues with the other fast cars later on that Zwickau is competing against, possibly costing the others plenty of lap time there, which would put Zwickau right in the mix for even the win here in endurance.
Yeah, it's also very, very good that they had to share the track with the Ulu guys, because they are also very, very fast at the moment.
Also, the thing that influenced the VHZ performance here was the luck, I would say, because they were starting just before the lunch break, and also few of the cars just broke down, unfortunately, with the DNFs, so the track was clear for them, and not only the driver was consistent, but he was able to be consistent because the track was pretty clear. So let's see the final time, but just keep in mind that the times you see on the screen are without the cones, so it can be different. Take it as a reference, let's say. And back to the Oulu car that has 5 laps to go. The driver is pushing and the times went down as we expected. They started the race with 15 seconds and now the record of them is the last lap, which is 1 minute 12.4, which is the pretty similar time that Ostrava was doing. So I think it will be pretty close.
Yeah, the driver really pushing it here, right? Picking off right where the other driver left him off before the driver change. 12 seconds, you said it, Michael. But he's super, super consistent here. 112s, 113s, average time down to 115.6 now. This could be super, super close. But this is also where cones will come into play. Am I right, Christian?
You are absolutely right. I mean, we see a delta of about, 12 seconds. That means only 6 cones will decide whether you're on P1 or not. So, yeah, but this goes both ways, right? Also, the other driver needs to have basically no cones.
100%. And this is also what makes it so tense till the very end, you know, till the award ceremony, that you, in Formula Student, there's almost never an occurrence where you really know who is going to win the event at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a lot of calculations during the live stream, which you can also see obviously in the screen. But yeah, this is the big uncertainty, and also the design finalists, the cost finalists, business plan finalists. We don't have the results from that. So cones and obviously the finalists are the big uncertainty in this competition.
And one thing that also comes into play at the very end is the efficiency, which you can't see on here yet because obviously it hasn't been measured yet. But this is something that we cannot really judge at all here from on the stage. So it'll be super interesting to see who takes the title there.
Yeah, I totally agree. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes, or basically all the teams have the goal to achieve the maximum amount of points, and that's not necessarily means that you have the fastest car in the endurance. You want to have the best combination of lap time and efficiency to get most of the points of both disciplines.
Coming back to you guys from the pit lanes, I wanted to ask, now that we're heading towards the end of the competition, towards the head of the part of this competition, what are your guys' highlights? What impressed you the most during this morning?
Honestly, I think during the morning, in general, it was just the consistency of all the cars. Like the reliability of most of the cars was just through the roof here, I think. And it really showcases how much the Formula Student evolved as a whole, because we probably remember the years 2021, 2022. I think even at FSG, we saw less than 5 electric cars finishing. And now we've just seen cars putting laps in after laps after laps, which is super, super nice to see, but also shows what those students have performed in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this was one of the highlights. We've seen so much action on track because the cars are so reliable, teams are prepared, a lot of testing time, but also I think the Lemgo car finishing their first dynamic discipline, that was a very, very cool story we could witness here.
And if I have to choose one, it was the E9 car that I saw so far. It was so fast, and also the contrast was pretty big because the other cars were very slow. So to see the comparison, the car next to each other, it was pretty amazing to see how fast it actually is in comparison. And now back to the C98 car, which is going for its last lap.
Yeah, we saw the very last lap sign here. Driver still pushing at 113 here, a little slower than the first lap, you know, maybe some physical fatigue as well, but running up the hill as quickly as possible. No issues up there with the hairpin. We can see the rear wing going on the downhill section here. No cones on this lap as far as we can see. And it's only half a lap left now.
But what are some things that you guys still would like to see, or that you're hoping to see today after the lunch break?
Honestly, I think the greatest thing to see is always cars that are equally fast at the very same time. This always, you know, gets it pumping, just drivers putting in lap time after lap time that are just beating each other all the time. But yeah, now, before we answer the rest of the question, back to Formula Student Ulu. last lap here. Lauri going for it, getting the checkered flag, pulling into the pit here. Congratulations, finishing the endurance, Formula SAE Oulu, and what a time.
Yeah, super good by the team. Congratulations, and what a way to end the first session today. And yeah, to answer your question, I think from my perspective, what I would like to see here is exactly what Jonas mentioned, close competition. But this has been the story of FS Czech so far. I mean, we have seen, even in driverless, super close competition. Autocross, skid pad, acceleration, everything. Like, all the teams were so close to each other, and one small mistake can make a huge difference, as we've seen also yesterday with the Aachen car.
Yeah, I'm super sure that we will see that in the second half here, just after the lunch break. And we are very excited for you all to join us there. So see you in a bit.